We're not going there, though. We are going to go today.
Where no man has gone before.
Our dear friend Mike Farron was in town.
Yeah, calling the game on a cell phone.
Yeah, I felt really bad, and so, but the good news is, out of, my dad was the first person to quote me is it a saying? What's it called? But in every dark cloud, there's a silver lining. It's a saying, but isn't there a fancier word for that?
Probably.
Yeah. In every dark cloud, there's a silver lining.
Yeah.
Same with Mike Farron's, cell phone broadcast like last night. In every dark cloud, there's a silver lining, which we will share with you here in a little bit on the podcast.
Oh, what a tease.
I'm intrigued.
Josh doesn't even know what it is.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
What is that called? Is that a parable? No, it's not a parable.
Dumb debates?
Yeah, what is that called?
Yeah, help us.
It has a word.
It does. It has a big fancy word that I should know, but I took Fremont.
It's like
High
a comparison. We need a thesaurus for the word comparison.
It's one of it's one of them things that you get on the wall hangings that you put in.
Live, laugh, love.
Live, laugh, love.
Yeah. Let me see
if
I can
have a live, laugh, love.
I'd
sign,
rather
John?
be on my boat.
Yes,
I think it's just a metaphor.
There's another home run.
Do you guys have a live, laugh, love sign, John, in your house?
Ew. Please say no.
Nick, John is married to a woman. I'm not going to say her age, but she's a little older than us. She fits the demo of live, laugh, love.
My aunt was a live, laugh, love person. She also had a God bless this mess.
Ugh.
Yeah, bless this mess. I always appreciate the people who make the entire back of their cars like
all their takes.
Yeah, all their takes.
Here's my opinion on it.
Well, we talked about the tornado girl last week, but there's a lot of people around here, and we are in the state of Nebraska, breaking news, who are like, I wish I was in the ocean. It's like, huh.
Interesting.
Yeah. I wish I was on my boat right now.
Josh has commented, you're a fine producer. Proverb, expression. Ethan says simile or metaphor. Is it a simile?
Idiom.
Idiom? That's so close to the word idiot.
I know, which is probably why people don't use it very much anymore. But yeah, all of those, I just looked up, and all of those things that you just said,
they fit.
All those.
How do you even Google that? Like, what is a saying?
Well,
I was trying to figure out what to Google.
I just typed in every dark cloud there's a silver lining,
and it said,
and you just look and it says things like, well, of course now
I remember that when that's
the expression, the proverb.
Yeah, it's closer.
I remember when I learned that silver lining comes from it's about clouds. I had no idea for the longest time that expression was about clouds. So I didn't realize clouds.
I've certainly never
linings.
used the saying. That's for sure.
A silver lining or the thing.
The silver lining as the cloud.
Yeah,
with the clouds.
Yeah, just say silver lining. Yeah. Glass half full.
Yeah.
Proverbs. That's a good one.
A proverb.
I'll go proverb.
There are 31 proverbs.
Like the proverb said.
Which is why people do. That's why they do it, every day. For a month, you can do the proverb because no matter what month you're in, you'll always have enough.
There's also 31 flavors.
Wow.
Is that's ice cream, right?
Baskin Robbins.
Baskin Robbins.
No, not Baskin and Robbins. Baskin Robbins.
It's Baskin Robbins.
And is it breaking and entering or breaking and entering? I've always been confused by that.
Hold on.
And entering, or is it breaking and entering? Because you're doing both.
No,
right?
You're not breaking
and
entering.
And doesn't make any sense.
And is
breaking and entering?
What's an entering? What's an entering?
No,
you're breaking.
It's and.
No, it's and. It's not.
Yeah,
it's and.
Well, and
why would
entering.
It be
A-N-D.
and entering.
Because you're breaking the door down. You're breaking and
entering.
entering.
Door and entering.
Nobody
Unless there's a statue named Anne Entering.
That's true.
Breaking and entering.
Yeah, I always
You just came up with a joke for the next airplane movie. I'm sure someone will use that. But
yes,
no, we don't call it an entering.
You never called your door an entering? Hey, going through the entering.
I call it an entrance.
I feel like I've heard that at church before. Like going through the entering. Maybe not. I don't know.
Breaking and entrancing.
That is,
what the hell are you talking about?
And I thought I was the one that was crazy when Manfred Mann said wrapped up like a douche.
Hey, it sounds like that.
It does.
It sounds like that.
It does.
Another runner in the night.
Breaking an entrance.
The only acceptable version of that song, by the way.
Wow.
All you Springsteen marks.
Well, that's a Springsteen song.
redid
Yeah.
Springsteen, or no, he did it. That
That's
was
the
his
original
song.
one.
Manfred Mann redid it.
Oh, I don't even
And
want to hear the original.
Manfred Mann said, "Here, let me take this piece of trash and turn it into gold."
Another
and
runner
they
in the
did.
night.
Give me Manfred Mann and
All
his Earth
hail
Band.
Manfred Mann. And
You know what I don't like about the Manfred Mann version? They don't know what to do in the middle of it, so they're just like, just play chopsticks.
It is a very long.
Just play
interlude.
chopsticks.
It's called an interlude, Nick. You as a music guy
Yeah.
should know that.
Yeah, but you can't just play chops. A bunch of bands do that. They're
See,
just like,
back-
we need to fill this.
It's just a bunch
put
of weird
chopsticks
noises.
in.
That's what we're doing in the 70s. It's
and
just weird noises.
who-
No, it's the rip chopsticks. The song.
Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah.
They just
But
throw
before
it in.
leading up to
though.
that, there's like 2
It
empty
works,
minutes.
yeah.
No, that's fine. It's just chopsticks itself. They just kind of insert.
Okay,
it.
what other-
They would
other-
have shouted out big.
Yeah, what other
Tom
pop
Hanks.
song includes chopsticks? It's an interesting way to fold in a very simple pianic
Oh, I can. Okay, give me
learning
one second.
tool.
Band of Horses absolutely has a song where they do it.
Okay, again, no one's ever heard of them.
I like
People
Band.
are
I
fan
know
of
Band of Horses. They were in a commercial back when I was in college, and I was like, oh, I like this song.
Remember when
Oh,
we
yeah,
did the
they have
funeral?
really epic music.
Remember when we did the funeral for Nebraska ball?
He
Band of
doesn't-
Horses song.
He doesn't remember.
Wow.
So now you're making me think of covers that are better than the original. So here's a question for you: which Jimi Hendrix cover is better, "All Along the Watchtower" or the Star-Spangled Banner?
All Along the Watchtower, because Bob Dylan is like, that's your song now.
That regular one.
Yeah,
All Along the
yeah.
Watchtower from Jimi Hendrix is bad.
Bob
I don't-
Dylan gave that song.
I don't consider the Star Spangled Banner.
It's not a cover to you.
Yeah, because everyone's done it.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Even I've done it
Yeah.
in the stands.
I wouldn't consider it a
Cover.
cover either.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, definitely all along the Watchtower. I had totally
Great cover.
forgotten that.
Bobby D. Was that Bob Dylan before he was unplugged or after he was unplugged, Nick?
He's never not been unplugged. He's
Remember he
always been-
unplugged and people were like, mad, electric guitar. Oh no, I guess that would have been plugged. Gotta be your bull. People
Yeah.
were pissed the first time he brought out an electric guitar.
The one
you know about that,
song-
Nick?
Yes.
Okay.
The song that I liked that was done for the second time, and it was coincidentally actually it was a Bruce Springsteen song, Atlantic City, is way better by the band. I don't know if
I
anybody
know
knows
this
what I'm
song.
talking about. Yes, it's way better by the band than it is by Bruce Springsteen.
I'm not familiar with this. I may be familiar with the song, but I don't recognize it by the title.
With a little help from my friends, that was Joe Cocker, right? Who did the cover of
Yes.
that cover, awesome. From the Wonder Years.
Yeah,
Great cover.
It is.
I like the original too, though.
I do too.
By with little help
You
from
wonder
my friend.
did- if the Wonder Years hadn't happened,
Oh, good question.
would that song resonate?
Did this happen in the Cars universe?
Absolutely.
Yes. And in the Cars universe, the Winnie car still very hot, very hot for a car.
For a car. Yes, of course.
She was definitely a Corvette.
Well, you have Howard Bryan on the show tomorrow,
Yeah.
dude. That's awesome.
Talking RH.
Who?
Howard Bryan, he's a writer. He wrote a book about Ricky Henderson. He's a huge
Oh.
baseball guy.
Oh,
It's like Schaefer's favorite writer. Do you know this? How much Schaefer loves?
I actually know. I didn't know that.
He is. I can't wait till he sees this news.
Oh.
He is such a big Howard Bryant fan.
I'll have to have him fire some questions.
I guess I'm not familiar with Mr. Bryant nor
Yeah.
his works.
Yeah, he wrote a Ricky Henderson book, and he's going around and doing some interviews.
Well,
yeah,
Dude, that's awesome.
I taunted Ricky Henderson in the outfield at Wrigley, so take that.
nice.
The game you went to with Kevin?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
That was so fun because he constantly was looking back with a snarl on his face, and of course the jerk ended up having a big hit in the late innings, and Cubs lost.
Yeah.
So
very on
I
brand.
feel like I was kind of responsible for that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Nice.
He wrote a book about Hank Aaron a couple years ago too, if I remember right. That was
Interesting.
Well,
I
that
guess
was well
I-
received.
you know me. I don't.
You're not a big book
I'm
guy.
not a big book guy.
Yeah.
I still have to read those World War II books. I got a lot of reading to do.
All right,
What
nobody
World War II?
spoil World War II for John.
That's a great dad sentence. I still got to read those World War II books, and it's not even Father's Day yet.
I think I got him for Father's Day.
I was gonna say
That's such a Father's Day gift.
yeah, it's a very Father's
right?
Day
Oh,
gift.
what do I get my dad?
How about World War II?
Boom.
Was
Here
it
you go, Dad.
Father's Day or birthday?
I made the mistake.
Band of Brothers.
I made the mistake of getting my dad into a game called World of Warships because he loves old naval battle type of stuff, and that's all he does now is he just plays World of War. That's not all he does, but he'll call me and he'll tell me about all his World War II ships that he has and that
His
he sinks.
Netflix queue is just a bunch of World War II documentaries.
Does he watch the World of Warships show that they always do on the BTN that you guys get?
No, my dad isn't. My mom's the one with has it. My dad does not.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's a tough thing to lose, man. Not having the BTN.
I think he'll recover.
Yeah.
Campus Eats.
Campus Eats. We all need more Campus Eats.
What did they do when they went to Lincoln? Do we know?
Yeah, remember they went to
that chicken place.
Yeah, they went to
Lee's.
Lee's.
Oh, Lee's.
I've
Okay.
seen them do Lee's and was it? I think Brendan Stye hosted them at a Valentino's,
Nice.
the one nearest campus,
The one.
because the OG is no longer.
What is
The
the one nearest
33rd,
campus?
33rd and Holdridge is gone now.
Yeah, that's
well,
the,
they
that's the OG.
What happened to it?
They took it down, but there's a Valentino's right there now, but it's like a takeout only.
Right. It's not.
Okay.
Yeah, they tore down because
The OG is gone.
yeah.
So what's the
And
closest
the
one
Val's-
to campus?
the
There's one
super-
downtown.
The Super Val's, the Val's buffet is gone now too.
Out on
70th.
Really?
Yeah. No more Grand Italian
pandemic?
buffet. Yeah, I think I think the pandemic kind of put the final nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
Man, that place used to be hopping. I used to live literally right across the street. I lived in the apartments right across the street. And every Sunday after church, it was just like,
Well, you could pick whatever you wanted. You could eat. You could be whoever you wanted to be that day.
listen, some people on this program have, denigrated Valentino's, but the Grand Italian buffet was the bee's knees. It was good.
I know that's not the point of the show, but I like the idea of an episode of Campus Eats where they just go to like a McDonald's or something, but it happens to be on campus.
Like
you would be
chain
the
gang.
only person who watched that show.
That would
Yeah.
be hilarious.
Oh, we're going to McDonald's.
We're gonna go.
Let's check out Lincoln's McDonald's.
Let's check-
The chicken nuggets meal is number 6 instead of number 8.
Wow, how cool is that?
Nick's favorite show.
I didn't say I'd watch it.
The
I just said I
BTN
like.
that he doesn't get.
I just like the idea of it. I think it'd be funny. Just one episode, like, oh, welcome to Campus Eats. Oh, we're gonna go to a place that all the students love here.
You think about it. There's just
Burger
not
King.
a lot of with all the specialty shows that we have now available to us, either on cable, satellite, or streaming. There's not enough love given to chain restaurants,
Many people are saying this.
which is why the idea that is still out there about doing the chain gang.
Oh, Josh. Yeah.
I love that idea. We've had that idea for years. We've had it for years.
I know.
It's a great idea.
Fuddruckers is still in line to be
That's-
the first chain gang restaurant that we
Mhm.
review.
Mm-hmm.
And
Where is the nearest one now?
72nd.
Is it still open? I tried to
It
go
is
there.
not. It is confirmed not open.
What?
It is not open.
I tried to go there once a couple years ago,
No.
and they
It's-
had all their lights on. It said open, but the door was locked.
It is permanently closed.
What?
It is not there.
What happened?
It's I don't know. I attempted to go there in November.
Yelp says it's open. Is it not? Is Yelp lying?
It said on the door that they
Wow,
were.
Google says there's nothing. We don't have one in Omaha anymore.
It's gone.
Oh,
Yeah,
chain gang's canceled.
Yep. No more chain gang.
Wow, that is so sad. That is so sad.
It is. Man, the idea, because there was that, and there was also a chain called Flaky Jake's.
Never heard of that one.
That was, I think there was one in Lincoln, but there was also one here. Same
Yeah,
concept.
Steve says it's been closed for quite some
Same
time.
concept where
Yeah.
you order the burger and then you got just the huge topping
Oh.
bar.
Nice.
I really wanted to go to Fuddruckers because I'd never been, and then the day I was gonna go, it was weird.
I went
'Cause
one
it was
time.
locked, but all the lights
it
were on.
always when you drive by. I could see why you couldn't
Yeah.
tell it was closed because when you drive by
The
there,
signs
it
are
looks
still on.
just like
Yeah.
it
The
always has.
signage is there. It's
There's
very bright,
cars in
very
the parking
colorful,
lot.
very clean.
There's cars in the parking lot. Like I don't know what's next. I think
There's
like
a lot
Ver-
of stuff.
There's
over
like
there.
a Verizon store
Yeah.
next
Well,
door.
there is, and there, you got a Chipotle and a
Yeah.
Starbucks and a
Yeah.
this and a that. And
I remember I went there one time. I was surprised at how good it was. Like I never imagined a place called. No offense to Fuddruckers, but I just was like, that place is probably going to suck. The name is.
When
no offense to the
when I met
Fuddruckers.
with the boss to talk about this job, we tried to go to Fuddruckers, and that's when I learned it was closed.
Oh no! Thank
Yes.
God that wasn't an omen.
I know. Yeah, we ended up going to the Chipotle next door.
Mm.
So
I mean, maybe it was an omen.
Yeah.
Maybe
You didn't
it
get
was.
E. coli, did you?
not that I know of.
Okay,
No,
that's good. That's good.
I think I'm good.
Jim says, Sip is going to try to start chain gang on 3. Hey, don't be stealing our ideas there, Sip.
Yeah.
That sounds
Next
like
thing,
something he would
next
do,
thing
though.
you know, they're gonna debut on 3 things I know and things I think I know.
You would have to bring Simple in for the Carlos O'Kelly's review, though.
Oh,
He's a
I don't
huge-
even.
Mexican cafe. Is that gone
think there's
too?
only one left.
I think there's one in Lincoln still on
on
27.
27th.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a serious upgrade. We got a local place in place of the Carlos O'Kelly's near our house,
Nice.
which was like, I mean, that's like going from, a Popeyes to a place that serves good chicken that's actually big pieces. That's local.
Wow. Wow. I gotta
Wow.
catch strays for no reason. No reason.
I'm sorry.
No reason.
All right. You guys are busy today, right? You got a bunch of stuff coming.
We do. We got Sip. We got Shafe, and
I gotta meet Mike Farron at the ballpark today because I'm going to Werner Park. I'll have to meet him for the first time.
He's an awesome dude.
he is a great guy.
Don't tell him you know me.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
That
if
might not work to my advantage.
Yeah, if you say, "Hey, I'm Connor. I'm Josh's friend," he might just say,
Okay.
Yeah, just say I'm not.
And I
Don't say you're
meant
a
this
friend.
Josh, not producer Josh. I'm sure
Yeah,
producer Josh.
Yeah, they're cool.
And Parker's coming on.
And Parker's coming on.
Parker.
Yeah, we haven't had it. I mean,
Parker.
Does
I
he see
bet
any
he-
of that
I bet-
$4.6 billion from the Broncos
Great
sale?
question.
you think the Athletic gets a piece of that?
Well, he's at USA Today.
USA Today.
Oh gosh, geez. Sorry.
Fix your prep sheet, John.
For some reason, I had the Athletic in my brain, but he is. Yeah, that's right.
He's a very
USA Today.
athletic guy. He played quarterback in high school.
That's crazy. The most expensive franchise in North American sports history. It's like, okay, Jerry Jones, what he had to say about the Cowboys being worth 10 bills, probably actually correct.
He could sell today for $10 billion.
That's
Oh,
Do we know how
easily.
Stibbs feels about this? I haven't seen anything from him.
yeah. He hasn't said anything on Twitter. Now that he has an actual job, he's like off Twitter. It's very
Yeah, I
sad.
know. We need more
Yeah.
Stibs on
Yeah.
Twitter.
Yeah, come back to Twitter, Stibbs.
He has an actual job. Was he the line cook at Fuddruckers?
R.I.P.
Not anymore.
Jordan says
That
that,
would be funny. That's actually his job, and he's just standing there going,
Wait.
"Where's all the
where's my
customers?
boss? Where's my boss?
I've been making all these burgers and fresh baked bread, and no one's here."
By the way, one more on Carlos O'Kelly's. Jordan says that the one on 27th has been torn down for over a year now. I think the closest one is in
Oh.
Grand Island.
Oh,
John.
I'm sorry, but
over a year.
we've got so many, and I'm not complaining, but we have so many local Mexican restaurants.
Support local.
The idea of a
Wait.
chain,
Yeah.
a national chain Mexican restaurant is the most pointless thing in the world when you can get the real stuff, the good stuff.
I'm going to a
the
local Mexican
stuff.
joint on Saturday night.
I actually
Every
agree with that. I never go to Panda Express because there's so many good Chinese
Yeah,
restaurants.
Well, yeah.
exactly.
Always.
Oh, now wait a minute.
Panda Express
orange
is-
chicken is a game changer.
John, you can get orange chicken at every other Chinese restaurant,
But
and it's
is it-
always better.
Do you know that is a proprietary recipe by the Panda Express?
Orange chicken?
Wow.
I believe it is. I believe it is their proprietary
But
recipe.
how come I can get it at any buffet?
Because they're stealing.
Mm.
They are stealing.
they
They're
pay
stealing
them.
the trademark. Do something.
Mm. The crab rangoons, they're pretty good though. I mean, you could do crab rangoons bad. There are Chinese restaurants around here that have bad crab rangoons.
Yeah.
What rice do you get?
Fried.
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 Wow, really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm a white rice guy. I don't like if I'm doing the fried
Shoe
rice,
fits.
if I'm doing the fried rice, I would do it like by itself.
Oh, okay.
I
I
like the
understand that.
rice as a base, but then again, my son literally eats white rice with every meal.
Oh, so rice is a base, but mayo?
No,
The
man.
Chinese
He says
food, you can
mayonnaise
sort
is-
of mix it
mayo
all
is a
together.
base.
You
Okay.
can sort of mix it all together.
Yeah.
So what
you
happens
mix
if
the
you mix
flavors of
rice
the
and mayo?
almond chicken in there? Then you have double base.
Oh.
It's like a 2-layer base coat.
You're telling me a chicken fried this rice?
Okay, now the crossover.
Yep, crossover is over.
Crossover
Thanks,
died.
Nick.
Nick killed it. Thanks. All right, coming up, exclusive new partnership that's going to make the College World Series the best one yet. Here on
Oh,
1620 The Zone Plus.
a dome.
Nope. Can't promise that.
Damn it.
Can't promise that. There's a part of me that would actually, get rid of my hatred of domes
Just for those 2 weeks.
just for those 2 weeks.
Just for the 2 weeks.
so that we're that yet somehow we'll still find a way to postpone games.
it's an 8-hour game.
1620 The Zone.
Connor Happer Show. Unsportsmanlike Conduct. 6A to 6P. 1620. The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast presented by Funplex Water Park and Rides from the KETV Newswatch 7 Weather Center on 1620 The Zone.
Bright sunny skies will be greeting us for your Wednesday morning right into the early afternoon. I'm tracking a high temperature of 78 degrees. For tonight, I'm tracking a morning low of 57. Rainfall returns by Thursday. I'm meteorologist Anthony Copeland for KETV News Watch 7.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct, brought to you by a great friend of the program, Union Bank and Trust.
Start your engines.
Joe's Indoor Karting in Council Bluffs is off the charts crazy. Joe's Karting is fast-paced, adrenaline-pumping, wheel-to-wheel racing action at over 40 miles per hour. The only speed restriction on these karts is how good you are. Joe's Karting is located just a couple of blocks north of Bass Pro Shop and directly east of AMC Theater in Council Bluffs, Iowa. Go watch a movie. Come race at Joe's. Planning a bachelor party, graduation party, or just a night out with friends? Go to Joe's. Remember, Joe's Karting is your place to race.
Watching a ball game at Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill is just, well, pretty awesome, actually. And it doesn't matter if you prefer the college dink or the big league crack of the bat, there's nothing better than watching a game with a cold, frosty one, Oscar's Pizza, or award-winning char-buffed wings with Oscar's Thai chili bourbon wing sauce. And with daily lunch and dinner specials, it's really a no-brainer. So get ready to watch your favorite team play ball at Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill, 173rd and West Center Road, and takeout at 162nd and Maple.
At Boost Mobile, you get the power of the iPhone SE when you switch, which means the power to stream your favorite shows, download all the music, the power to FaceTime your ex.
It's over. Stop calling me.
On second thought, don't call your ex. Get an iPhone SE for just $19.99 when you switch, all on one of America's largest 5G networks. More power to save. Boost Mobile. Phone offer limited to new customers and one per line. Additional restrictions apply. 5G not available everywhere. See boostmobile.com for details. And stop calling your ex. She doesn't want to hear from you anymore.
We're in the most active season of the year right now. And if you have joint pain, hip pain, knee pain, maybe back pain, shoulder pain, I've got fantastic news for you. QC Kinetics is helping people here get the fun back with advanced regenerative treatments from local medical professionals. Regenerative medicine is the hottest thing going. It's basically taking growth factors with healing properties from your own body, highly concentrated, then putting them back into your aching joints. This exciting in-office non-surgical treatment can repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints, giving you real lasting relief from pain. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in these cutting-edge, all-natural options, and the patient satisfaction reports are incredible. They have over 100 clinics nationwide, including right here. You can get real relief from pain with no surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Stop putting it off. Call QC Kinetics now to learn more about regenerative medicine and get a totally free in-office consultation. Call 402-205-4960. That's 402-205-4960.
This edition of Unsportsmanlike Conduct on 1620 The Zone is proudly presented by Union Bank and Trust. The program starts now.
KOZN. Unsportsmanlike Conduct on 1620 The Zone. Husker Athletics, Creighton, and yes, UNO. Don't miss a moment, they'll give you your fix. They're on every day from 2 until 6. Spend your afternoons with John, Josh, and Nick. John, Josh, and Nick. They'll show you what sports talk really is.
What an all-star lineup. Steve Sipple, Mike Schaefer, Parker Gabriel, and our best guest, Dumb Debates.
I love Dumb Debates. A very good guest. Answers our questions
He knows
thoroughly.
everything.
On Sportsmanlike Conduct on 1620 The Zone. Husker Athletics, Creighton, and yes, UNO.
Welcome, everybody. Thanks for being out there today. We love you all because you are our friends of the program. Hope you're enjoying this beautiful Wednesday. I saw that the humidity is going to be getting up there here soon, so enjoy it while you can.
Yeah, you started off the air earlier. You were playing. I heard you playing the College World Series music, and immediately, you know, some people say, I heard something and a shiver went down my spine. Immediately, I felt like I was going to start sweating. It suddenly got very humid.
Yeah.
Back in the bullpen.
Yeah.
When I hear that at the beginning, especially, I feel like a large window is open. It's 95 degrees, and I'm sweating.
Yeah, I was in another studio and I barely heard it. I started to get anxiety.
Yep. The producer of the College World Series.
Why are you getting anxiety?
If next Friday goes okay.
Uh-oh.
Because that's the song I always associate rain delays with. When I'm the studio producer.
Oh, I see. Yes, because we played.
I didn't forget about the 1 a.m. top of the 9th inning last year.
Yeah. Yeah, that was memorable for multiple reasons, including the Phantom news release that we're not Phantom, but the news release, the Friday night news dump telling North Carolina State, yeah, you're done.
Oh boy.
That was not a good look. Hopefully we don't run into that.
Oh, yeah, that next day was fun. Oh, is the game going to start?
Oh yeah, that was a blast.
No, that was that.
No, that
happened later that day.
That was okay.
That was
my
earlier
bad.
That was nuts because I was off the. We finished up the show because if I remember right, that was the Bill Moose got fired day too. So Robbie and I did that.
Was that the same day? I thought
I'm
it
pretty
was
sure
earlier in the week.
Pretty sure it was the same day. Either way, that happened, and we get off the air, and suddenly we're listening, and the game's not starting, and so I just sat there because I'm like, well, I might be needed, and sure enough, I was indeed needed. Did they play that game? But
it ended up being delayed
like
because they were waiting to see who was going to be available. They were COVID testing all,
and then they still kicked him out.
Yeah,
that was so dumb.
Yeah,
it was a wild day.
Bad deal all the way around. Hopefully, we won't have to go through that again. Well, I'll tell you why we're not going to have to go through that again. By the way, all that lineup: Sip, Shafe, Parker, Dumb Debates, Rooferys, John Higgins, Weather Guard. They're great. They'll roof your house.
Yeah,
they'll keep you dry.
Roof.
But this year, I have an exciting new announcement about our coverage of the College World Series. But if you missed it last night, as you know, Mike Farron is in town.
Dear friend of the program.
He is calling Storm Chaser games all this week, filling in for Jake Eisenberg. And, of course, our internet goes down and there's thunderstorms.
Yep, very on brand.
So I'm out walking, as I promised. I said when I go and walk, I'm gonna turn on my zone.
Get down.
My 1180 the Zone app, which is also the 1620 the Zone app. You know, you can switch back and forth between stations if you want to.
People forget
AM radio.
But it's still AM radio. And I was like, I'm gonna listen to some Farron on my walk, and it comes up, and well, here's a few of the examples. Here's how it sounded yesterday.
Now, back to Omaha Storm Chasers baseball on 1180 The Zone.
James Newberry is on, former Storm Chaser, pitching for Lehigh Valley now.
Not edited, ladies and gentlemen.
Fourth pitcher of the night for the Iron Pigs. Face Ian Gallagher, Wayne Dugan, and Gabriel himself. Storm Chasers, 6 of them trailing 5-1.
I thought for a minute, is something wrong with our app?
Right?
What's going on here? And then I kept listening.
Still his last at bat. 1-1 hit. Hit a ball about as hard as you can. Right at that time, the wind was really howling and knocked it down. And Rory Mcilroy caught it in left center field on the warning track.
Real quick, the funniest part to me about this, I mean, a lot of things, but the open that we play for him every week, there it mentions it sounds like you're calling from inside a hole.
And it did. It sounded like he was inside a hole.
He had not had a manager fired any season in Major League Baseball since 2018. That is right at the All-Star break. Mike Matheny was let go by St. Louis and replaced by Mike
Schwartz in the background.
Oh my goodness!
And the 1-1 from Nunez to Bonifacio.
He was literally calling it into his cell phone.
Yeah,
but it was on speaker.
Greg and Lincoln wants to know, was Farron calling it from his flip phone?
It was his phone.
Calling from inside.
Remember, again, friends, these devices are great for surfing Twitter or playing games or looking at the radar. They are terrible as actual telephones, just terrible. But like I said earlier during the crossover, with every dark cloud, there is a silver lining.
It's a simile.
And, you know, as I was walking, and I usually about an hour-ish walk, though I think I cut it just a little bit short because the rain was threatening.
Yeah,
the rain was threatening.
It's already here.
Yeah. So I was listening for a good while, and as
Still
I was
AM radio.
listening, I was getting kind of misty. It's
Like
and
emotional?
It wasn't the rain. It was like, man, this takes me back to the way things used to be. And when I got home, I opened my email. Our general manager, Mark, had sent me this. You must have not got it.
I didn't get, well, I'm not a baseball guy.
But apparently, and I get to be the one to make the announcement. We have a new partnership. We have a new partnership for the College World Series.
Awesome.
This year here on 1620 The Zone. I mean, Westwood won. They've been great. Howie, everyone there, they're fantastic.
The Westwood One NCAA Radio Network. Fine folks.
But we thought it was important at 1620 The Zone to take baseball back to its roots. See, here in the Midwest, we say it's roots, not roots. It's roots.
Like root sports.
I say
roots.
root.
It's roots. We got to take baseball back to its roots.
The OG days.
And so we have a new partnership this year to broadcast College World Series games.
The College World Series on 1620 The Zone. For 2 decades, we've been your home for every pitch, every breathtaking moment, every national championship. And in 2022, we're excited to announce a new partnership that will bring baseball back the old-timey feel that can only be experienced on the radio. Introducing the Mike Farron Network, or MFN for short. An innovative new way to enjoy baseball on the radio the way your great-grandparents did, through a tin can.
And the pitch. Outside the ground to third. This could be 2. Even to second for 1. On to first. Not in time. After he runs well, beat it out. 8 to third on the play is Castillo.
Every sound on this MFN broadcast, from the crack of the bat to the snap of the ball in the glove to even the popcorn vendor, all sound the same. Like they're heard from a distance through a 1920s microphone.
We're trying to keep this 4-1 game. Runner goes from first. Pitches the ball. Gallagher bluffs the second. Throws behind the runner at third. And it gets by Eaton and into left field. Coming home to score is Castillo. Guthrie hustles all the way to third. Throwing error on the catcher Gallagher, and it's now a 5-1 lead.
If you love baseball, then you'll love this MFN broadcast.
First pitch. Hit on the ground towards second. Duncan down to a lead. Bobbles picks it up, throws to first in time to get Peterson, and the inning is over.
Go back to the days when Grandpa strained to hear Red Barber or Mel Allen through his Philco.
Chops one to the right side. To his left, shortstop has it. Maggi throws the first 2 up, 2 down quickly. Storm Chaser 6.
Or when great Uncle Leroy caught the 1943 World Series while he was dodging German airstrikes in North Africa.
Hey, ripped the third, and right there is Again, now. 5-1 Lehigh Valley. Here's Marshall.
Hey, honey, catching the ball game?
Would you shut the hell up? I'm trying to listen to the MF and College World Series.
Well, excuse me. I thought you liked MF and baseball. You don't have to be so MF and mean about it.
I do like MF and baseball. I just can't understand an MF and thing on this MF and broadcast.
It's coming June 17th from Charles Schwab Field, Omaha. And the only way to catch the drama of the 2022 College World Series is this MFN broadcast on 1620 The Zone.
Wow.
Isn't that exciting?
Hey, that's pretty cool. You know, they did
The
that
Mike
old school
Farron Network.
Remember ESPN a few weeks ago, they did that old school NBA game where you could watch the first quarter like it was the 50s and then the 70s, the 80s.
We're going back to the 1920s.
The way Grandma Leppincott used to listen.
We're going back to Graham McNamee.
Man, this is awesome.
Yep.
Very cool idea. Good job, Mark. Good job by you.
Yes.
Good job by Farron.
The fact that we were able to take this negative and spin it into a positive and come up with this
Positive
so
boys.
quickly was fantastic.
The positive boys.
So congratulations. It's the College World Series on the MFN broadcast.
That phone sounded so bad.
By the way, I did not enhance any of that. You literally could hear that crack coming through the phone. I did not enhance any of it.
The North Africa thing killed me. I love that. So good.
Oh, Dave, you jerk. So it sounds a lot like the 1620 signal in Lincoln.
Wow, come on.
But a good hashtag. Hashtag move 1620 to 1019.
Great idea.
Great hashtag.
It's a mid idea. It's a mid idea.
Great hashtag.
All right. We will be back with more Unsportsmanlike Conduct after this on 1620 The Zone.
Big names, big games. We've got them all. 1620 The Zone.
Make plans to be at Warner Park on Saturday, June 11th for Salute to Corn Night, presented by the Nebraska Corn Board. It's National Corn Day, and the Storm Chasers will turn into the Corn Chasers with special jerseys. Enjoy Busch Light corn cans, special corn food items, and all the corny jokes. Get your tickets today at OmahaStormChasers.com.
Omaha Storm Chasers family. Everyone get on your feet, stir up the storm, we're family.
In the wee hours of the night, when everyone else is fast asleep, you're the one on third shift, burning the midnight oil. When a part fails and everything comes to a grinding halt, regardless of what the clock on the wall says, you leap into action. Grainger is with you and all the ones who get it done, with 24/7 customer support by phone or click to chat. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hi, this is Kathy Kanoyer with Kanoyer Garden Center. The beauty and color of spring is in our greenhouse, featuring thousands of gorgeous hanging baskets and hundreds of varieties of Kanoyer grown product. Come in and let our family help you find what you are looking for. Whether it's home decor, annuals, perennials, shrubs, tropicals, or vegetables, we have it all. Kanoyer Garden Center between Highway 370 and Cornhusker on 66th Street in Papillion. Open daily, 9 to 7.
At Kanoyer Garden Center, everybody's got a green thumb.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people, people who answer the phone and your chats, dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people, small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required. Refund available for 60 days after purchase.
Have you heard about HIMS? Apparently, they take the awkwardness out of treating ED, and the process is really straightforward.
HIMS? Yeah, my buddy gets his ED meds through them. Said their online process is much simpler than going to a doctor's office.
Oh, yeah. Their entire process is only a few steps, and they only ship ED meds from certified pharmacies in the U.S. that are 100% FDA approved. All you got to do is go to 4hims.com/radio. You just answer a few questions, select your treatment preferences, and fill out some health information. Then a healthcare provider reviews the info and determines which medication, if any, is right for you. If it's prescribed, it ships free right to your door.
I think I'm going to check these HIMS guys out.
And get this, the ED medication I was prescribed is 90% cheaper than Viagra and has the same active ingredient. I can finally satisfy my partner.
For a free online consultation, go to forhims.com/radio. That's FORHIMS.com/radio.
You're listening to Unsportsmanlike Conduct on 1620 The Zone.
Paul says, my Lord, that was funny. Laughing so hard, my dogs came over to check on me. I don't know what you're laughing at. I mean, I think it's going to be a great initiative.
Hey,
for
man,
all of us here at
retro
1620
stuff,
Zone. Yeah.
vintage stuff.
People
it is.
love that.
Oh, it's very popular. I know. I look for vintage stuff all the time. It's very cool. Actually, one of my dearest friends is moving back to Omaha, Nebraska after living on the West Coast for almost a decade, and he is a big Packers fan. And when they met their demise in January, and I was cackling in a side group chat with a bunch of friends because none of us wanted the Packers to win, but I digress. I ended up looking for just vintage gear of my friends' favorite teams because I just bought a couple of vintage Dallas Cowboys beer glasses.
Yeah.
I stumbled upon this Packers glass from the 60s, and I was like, okay, I have to buy this for him. And so I bought it for him. I bought it for him on one of the worst sports nights of his life, but I bought it for him nonetheless. I was able to give it to him over the weekend. All that to say, vintage, very legal, very cool.
It's all very legal. It's all very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing wrong with it at all.
Nope.
Just like there's nothing wrong with the Live Golf Tour. Am I right? I don't think we'll have time to get into all of it here, but Phil Mickelson did have a press conference.
Was he wearing the all black getup?
Yeah. He didn't look quite as deer in the headlights. I've been on a 3-day bender.
That's good.
Is he divorced?
No. I was just saying he looks like a divorced dad.
Because people, I thought people were like speculating.
No.
Man,
I mean, I think he's still married.
Well, I mean, when you got the gambling debts, he does.
Woo!
I wonder how
He
much
is
of
still
the-
married to
I wonder-
Ann.
I wonder how much of the 150 mil will go towards paying off his gambling debts.
He says it's not about that, folks. He says, I'm good to go.
Sure. Yeah. No, I know. It's all about moving the game forward.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
Something.
Something.
And a lot of other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, the new information
Talking about the golfers today
is that Bryson DeChambeau
and Patrick Reed.
So you've got a U.S. Open champion and a Masters champion are now expected to join the Live League, and it is Live apparently.
It's not LIV.
Well, at least that's what Phil said, and we'll play the audio a little bit later.
Okay.
Because he definitely got grilled. But there's a couple of things.
And Brett, real quick, the Bryson number, did they say like 100 million? Is that what I have seen for old Bryson?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if the ESPN story does not quote a number.
Yeah.
But I mean, they've been throwing around. It's like 150 for DJ, and was it 150 for Phil or something like that? I got to imagine these guys will command high 8 figures, if not 9-figure salaries.
There's a story from February,
or signing bonuses
from Golf Digest, where DeChambeau said he was offered $135 million. Okay, so that's back in February. They could have sweetened the pot.
Here's my question, because they keep trying to spin it as we want to do this to change the game of golf. There's enough dissatisfaction with the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
What dissatisfaction? Is this strictly just a money deal?
So what I have gathered is yes. I know there are quite a few listeners that are well more in tune than you and I are with the PGA Tour, so they can correct us if we're wrong. But I think it is about like lack of guaranteed contracts. For example, and I said this yesterday, if you go golf in a tournament, you don't play well, you get cut, you don't make any money. These guys, it's all guarantees because there's no cut line. So if you go play in the thing in London,
they want guaranteed contracts.
They get guaranteed contracts. So they don't get that. And apparently as well, one of our listeners, Adam, he reached out to me yesterday. The digital rights, let me see if I can find his message. The digital rights. Here it is. Yeah. They have to sign over their media rights. All the while the PGA brings in over $1 billion a year as a non-profit. So they're frustrated that their digital rights, that those types of rights are signed away to the sport itself, and that they're not able to make it off of their own name.
Well, I know a lot of people still look at this, and I realize the main story behind this is where the money's coming from.
That's the angle we've taken most of the time.
The blood money, if you will.
Yeah.
And, using this to cleanse the Saudi government. Using sports to cleanse the Saudi government. But there's a real chance here for the players to exert some serious leverage because of this. This is this potentially, just judging by how things have played out, assuming, and I'm assuming a few things here as well, but this has a chance to be more disruptive to the game of golf than maybe the AFL was to disrupting the natural order of things in the 1960s with pro football.
Whoa.
I'll explain a little bit later.
Okay.
On. But I also want to play, it's about a
what
2.5 minute clip of what Phil said, because the British media I grill him.
Hey, welcome to London.
They
The
weren't
tube.
very jolly old London town when they talked to Phil Mickelson. They grilled him pretty hard, and Phil kind of stumbled.
Okay.
Speaking of stumbling, Steve Sipple's coming up next. Well, he's still getting used to the staircase at On3
because of the internet. Yeah.
At the Journal Star, they had a lift for him. He could
because he's
get
old.
up and down the stairs.
Yeah.
But they haven't installed that yet at On3 headquarters.
He definitely remembers baseball when it sounded like Mike Farron last night.
Oh, definitely. Steve Sipple, yeah. So rare Wednesday appearance next on 1620.
Hey everyone, Josh Peterson here for my friends at Miracle Hill Golf and Tennis. Speaking of golf, what a day that we have on tap. The rest of the afternoon, temperatures in the high 70s, a perfect day to get out there and play golf. Give them a call right now, 402-498-0220. Book your tee times for the rest of the day. And gosh, it's already Thursday tomorrow. The weekend will be here before you know it, and it looks like we will have another spectacular weekend on tap here in Omaha. But I know a lot of you, perhaps you have been like me over the years, where you put those golf clubs away at the end of October, maybe by mid-November, and then you don't touch them again until the following spring. And now it's almost summertime. You still haven't picked them up. Maybe you went to the range once. You did not like what you saw, and so you get that invite. And you kind of hem and you haw, and maybe you make an excuse. Hey, I can't play this weekend. I have something going on. That was me for quite a few years. Then I had lessons from Mike Favre, and that has changed me. Now those invites, they're not getting ignored. There are no excuses that I will bring up. I want to get out there and play. Fix that swing of yours, whether it's off the tee, in the fairway, out of the rough, or all the way on the green. Mike can help you get better. Got another lesson coming up on Friday, and I am looking forward to it. 402-498-0220. Give him a call today. Miracle Hill Golf and Tennis.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
Email any of our shows anytime into the Equitable Bank inbox. At Equitable, we take banking personally. For me, John at 1620thezone.com. The Equitable Bank inbox from 1620 The Zone.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're speaking another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
3 weeks. It's incredible. After 3 weeks, I'm on vacation in Paris, having a conversation in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
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 Babbel, évidemment. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Hey there, Greg Wagner joining you from the Nebraska Game and Parks Commission. And time now for another Nebraska Outdoor Update. Hey, we have some angler reminders to pass along that any of you going fishing 16 or older must have a current Nebraska fishing permit signed and on your person. And you need to learn the limits for the fish you're after as well, where you're fishing, and what you're after. Daily bag, possession, and length. It's all part of knowing before going. I'm Greg Wagner.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs.
I think we can settle into mediocre radio for a little bit here.
I called in from Lincoln. I was driving in my car, covering the Huskers, riding for. We talk every Monday at this time. I'm a friend of the program and they are mine. Hoiberger's bad, but Frost is fine. My name's Ted Cole and I'm alright.
I stress threesome.
Well, already, I don't know. I feel like we have to act as Sip's parents. But I'm already not a big fan of this new arrangement because already Sips had to move days on us
till Wednesday
a couple of times already in this new deal. I don't know. I mean, I kind of feel like Sip, you're Lando and Darth Vader's not. He's altering the deal, and you just pray he doesn't alter it any further.
No, I mean, here, come on, you guys. Well, I don't know where to start here. When you start a new job, there's some things involved that rock up your world a little bit. I think things will settle down. I think we can keep that Monday slot. Yesterday was yesterday Monday? No, nope. Monday was just sort of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Monday. Yeah, it was. And I think we can stick with Mondays. Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm just checking because you kind of been entrenched in that spot forever.
Since before you and I were here.
Yeah. Since before you and I were born.
Yeah.
No, John.
How's the internet going? Do you like the internet?
Yeah, I like it. I like this job. I there were some challenges immediately, but I like it. I'm surprised how busy we are in June. I'm sort of surprised by that. It's camp season. I mean, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on at Memorial Stadium. I mean, that's just the way kind of college football has become. It hasn't always been this way. Nobody can tell me it has been, but it is now. It's year round.
Is that good for the game that it's kind of turning into? And in many cases, the NFL just keeps itself in the headlines because they just love keeping themselves in the headlines. This isn't so much that. This is more just, trying to keep up with the whole, what kids want these days, what transfers, transfer portal. Is this good for the game that it's now basically become this 24/7, 365 adventure?
I mean, you'd have to convince me why it's bad. I don't think it's bad. I don't hear a lot of complaining from the principals. I mean, I don't think it's bad. It's a healthy activity as long as it's kept in some degree of check. I mean, the coaches. I don't want to say I feel for them. They know what. I mean, here's the deal. In fact, I was talking to an assistant coach about this yesterday or the day before, and he said, "Look, I hear some guys complaining sometimes, but I tell them, you know what you signed up for.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, nobody forced you into this Nobody forced you into this life. It's kind of like being a sports writer. Going in, you're going to work weekends, you're going to work odd hours, and if that's not your cup of tea, then you have to find something else." I think that football players and coaches know what they're getting into. Now, it's changed a lot, and I will say that in the last 2 years, it's changed a lot for the players and the coaches. But I know Nebraska coaches are going to get away in July a little bit. I think some of them, I'm not saying all of them, but I know some of them will get away for a week or two probably. So that's pretty, in this world now, that's not such a bad thing.
Sip, kind of a out of left field question for you, away from the usual questions that we ask. You said what you just did about coaches when they get into the profession, they kind of know what they're getting into for better and for worse. Do coaches that get into wanting to coach college football, how many of them do you think get into it for the money versus how many of them get into it because they want to actually, teach players. Because, if they're, sometimes there's like that natural frustration, right? And it's like, well, you're getting paid handsomely. And they're like, yeah, but I wish I could just coach. And I've always thought, well, if you wanted to just purely coach, wouldn't you want to do it at a lower level, or I guess a quieter level? Why do you think most coaches that coach in college football, why did they get into it in the first place?
Hard to answer. I mean, there's a lot to that question. There's a lot of dynamics in play. I think in some cases, in a lot of cases, Josh, they don't start, you know this as well as I do. If you look at coaching bios, not all of them start at a high level. In fact, most of them start at levels that are lower, including high school. And I think if you're good at what you do, you continue to move up, and that often involves moving into this sort of world, a high-profile college football program where the demands are incredible. And that's just sort of the natural evolution for a lot of coaches. There's not a lot of coaches that, I don't know very many at all that start off at a place like Nebraska. Oftentimes it's a long grind to get to that. Sometimes it's 4 years as a really low paid GA, or what, I don't know what they all call them now. Sometimes that's an analyst position where you're not making anything. You're really not. So I think it goes that way a lot, but it doesn't go. Yeah, I just my first job was at Ohio State, or my first job was at the University of Texas, and yeah, I get what you're saying about the pure coaching element. I'll tell you this though, Josh. One dynamic that's clear too is if you're an assistant coach at a place, even a coordinator, you are going to be coaching in that pure sense. It's the guys that move to the head coaching position that is a very that's got to be part of it, but it's just one of about 7 parts of it. In fact, I was reading a quote that Tom Osborne had about Frank Solich, and Tom said, as a head coach, you have to be mindful of so many things. Your dealings with the team, obviously, your messages to the team, but you're also you have to not deal with the fans, but interact with fans, interact with media, parents, compliance, now NIL. And by the way, you got to coach a team, X's and O's, and motivate. So it's very multifaceted at the very highest level as a head coach, obviously.
As you wrote earlier this week in On 3, we can now officially call it Husker Online, I believe. Correct? We're good to call it Husker.
No,
Nebraska coming soon.
Is still Nebraska coming soon?
Yeah, the way I characterize my job is I'm covering Nebraska for On 3.
All right, fair
Perfect.
enough.
Leave that out, Nick.
Stephen M. Sipple covering Nebraska for On 3 joining us here. As you wrote, Casey Thompson and his work ethic, what do you think will stand out more, if you had to predict, what will stand out more between him versus his predecessor, Adrian Martinez? His play on the field or his leadership off it?
I think the picture. I don't know if I'm going to answer the question exactly as you want me to, but I think a big difference with Casey is they will not lean on him as hard. I think they won't have to lean on him as hard, and they won't want. I don't know that Casey. Okay, I don't know that Casey could carry the type of load they asked Adrian. Part of it because he's not that big. I sat with Casey. I don't know. I think they list him at 6'1", 205. Maybe you could look that up. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's 195. But I've obviously been in one-on-one situations with Adrian a lot. Adrian's much bigger. He's a way bigger dude. Now, I'm not saying he's a better quarterback, but you could lean on Adrian in part because just his physical size. 6'2", 225 versus no way Casey 6'1". I mean, he's not 5'8". I mean, I was looking up at him, but he's not like Adrian. So I just don't, John. I think the picture is going to be quite a bit different. I really do. For instance, I'm not going to ask him to be the leading rusher on the team.
Right.
So the running back position is going to look a lot different. Now, I've talked to guys. I talked to Turner Corcoran today. I talked to Ramir Johnson the other day. I talked to Marquise Buford. I believe that run game discussion is real. Marquise Buford said, yeah, we had a hard time at times defending that run. I mean, the holes were big. Turner Corcoran didn't practice this spring, but he watched. And he said, it was like our run blocking was like it should be in that there were gaping holes. Now that's, it's a good news, bad news discussion if you're Nebraska. That means there are gaping holes at times in the defense. But I think the offense, I guess this is what of course I hope this. I think there'll be a more conventional run game with those running backs. And I don't know. I mean, that's what you heard Sean Beckton say. Now Turner Corcoran is adamant about it. Marquise Buford, the safety, said, yeah, it was tough at times coming up and trying to fill when there was gaping holes up there. So I don't know. I'm very intrigued.
Speaking of Adrian Martinez, I assume you've heard some of the recent quotes he had. He was on a podcast. He was either last week or 2 weeks ago down at K-State, where he made a comment about he feels he has more talent around him this season for K-State than he's had before at Nebraska. What did you make of that?
Well, I don't know. I've been on your show about 100 times saying Adrian didn't have enough around him, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
What was my consistent theme?
That's true.
That they had to lean on him because they had to, because they didn't have enough around him. And I said, and I was critical of Scott for that. You got a good quarterback, and then you didn't put enough around him. And I believe that. I don't mind saying it. I think I'm always surprised when there's pushback. So am I surprised? Am I surprised Adrian's saying that? No. But also, I think now, if Adrian was here now, I do think the picks would be different. Now, the question is, would they still try to lean on? I don't. It really makes you wonder. But there's no way they'll try to. I'd just be shocked if they try to lean on Casey Thompson like they did Adrian. I don't think they'll have to. I think they will. I think they feel the same way. They love what they have at running back. I think they like what they have at receiver, tight end. You're a little light there, but you're a little light.
Oh yeah, I agree.
After Vokalek, you're a little light.
Yeah.
But they feel like they have weapons, and the distinction I make, you got to make distinctions. I think the run or the run blocking, I do think the run blocking will be better. Mentality's changed. Turner Corcoran talked about that too. The mentality now is drive your guy 10 yards down the field and or flatten him. That wasn't really the mentality before. That's a shift. And I'm writing about that right now. It'll be tomorrow. But Turner Corcoran said that's a shift. He wasn't critical of Greg Austin. Austin taught physicality too, but not as explicitly, not in those terms. You drive your guy down the field 10 yards and or put him on his back. So Turner said that's a shift. We weren't necessarily taught that way before.
So yeah, I wanted to follow up because you said a few minutes ago that they won't lean on Thompson as hard as they did Martinez. And I was going to ask, you think, is that because of the skill guys or because of the offensive line? But it sounds like you think because of both.
Well, what I hope, Josh, is because it's the run game more than anything.
Yeah.
And I happen to believe, and you know me, I drink the Kool-Aid every year and all that, and I get into it, and I do. But I happen to think their running back core is good. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be as good as it's been during the Frost era. And if you talk to those guys, you only come away with that notion. I don't know who the starter will be. My guess is Anthony Grant. It's a guess, though, and it's close. I think you could see Jaquez Yant back there. I know this. I saw him yesterday. You don't worry about his his physical conditioning at all right now. I mean, he's not. He's he's in great physical condition. Irvin is the player that I'm really intrigued by because there's enough guys within the program saying he could be the starter at his size. And if people don't think of it this way, they think of Ramir is the burner in that group, but Irvin's step with Ramir, and he's 6'1" and 210, 6'2" and 210.
Hey, you mentioned the tight ends also a couple minutes ago in the chat you did yesterday on On3. You were asked about Fedoni, and you said that you wouldn't count on him being a major contributor this season. He added that you hope you're wrong. Like, at what point do you think we get any confirmed information on him? We talked about this yesterday. Is this like a media days thing, or you think we might be waiting all the way till game 1 and beyond before anything concrete comes out with Fedoni?
I think it could be a media days thing. I'm glad you asked. I after the chat, I wrote what I wrote, and then I checked on it, and I'm more certain now that I just don't. If he plays at all next year, it will be just late in the season, kind of like it was this past year, right? He got in late. If that's what you're looking at. I was thrown a little bit of a curveball when Robin Washit wrote in there that in that same chat. I didn't see this. I mean, a lot gets by me, obviously, but Fedoni was on the field, I guess, during Friday Night Lights without a brace on, and he was walking with no noticeable limp. So that's why I checked. I was like, is he? I did check it, and no, he's from what I was told yesterday. It is not going to be a deal where he's ready to roll.
If eliminating divisions, if we're going to believe the idea that eliminating divisions makes the road to Indianapolis harder for Nebraska, why do you think Trev supports it?
That's a question. That's a good question.
I mean, first of all, do you believe the supposition that if the East-West thing goes away, that makes it harder for Nebraska to make Indianapolis? Because I believe it does.
Yeah, I do. I mean, you'd have to pass, not only Wisconsin, Iowa, but Penn State, Michigan, and Michigan State, right?
Right.
I mean, absolutely. That's a good question. And you know what? I feel I've read what Trev said, and I don't know that he explained explicitly why he'd be in favor. I mean, whenever you have any doubts about anything like this, where do you go to? Money, right? It must be a money discussion.
I think it absolutely is.
It almost has to be. If you don't know something in this world, there's a few things you can go to, and one of the three is money, right? If you're wondering why something occurred or what's somebody's motivation, I got to think it's just another revenue bump, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
You know what stood out to me, Sip, when he said that it was maybe a reminder about how different he is from Bill Moose.
Oh, careful here.
And
you got to be careful.
And
here.
in a lot of ways, but Bill Moose was not afraid to push back when he perceived that Nebraska was being wrong. Now, again, maybe Trev doesn't view this that way, but I agree with John. I agree with you. I do think that in the long run, this will make it more difficult for Nebraska to make the championship game. Thus, this is worse for Nebraska. Like I've been wondering the last week, how would Moose have discussed this news?
Yeah. I think you have a good beat on Moose. I think that he wouldn't have. I don't know. I don't want to say that. I don't know for sure, but Moose. Now, there's certain things we do know about Moose, and he is a traditionalist.
Yeah.
He's a kind of a status. Well, I don't say status quo. He's a traditionalist, and I think the divisions fit into that category, right? I mean, I would say that.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the divisions in the Big Ten have only been around for a decade.
That's true. God, that's a good point. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to pretend like I know what Moose would think. I know what I think.
Mm-hmm.
I like the division, and I'm very surprised how people just jump off of them. I don't quite understand.
I think it's a lot of follow the leader. I really do, Sip. I think, the ACC has talked about it openly, the Pac-12, the SEC, and everyone's just following the leader right now.
Yeah, I'm talking more about media and fans. Why I always see people saying, yeah, I hope they go away from the bit. Why? Like, why?
Well, I know my argument that I made for a while for them was I love the idea of being able to play all the teams in the conference more regularly. Now, as John has pushed back when we bring this up every time, is they could just schedule better. But for whatever reason, scheduling in the Big Ten and the SEC, it's been such a pain in the ass. And if you move away from divisions, it does seem like maybe you could have some more regular scheduling practices.
Yeah, a lot of it, frankly, comes down to scheduling.
Yes,
and
for sure.
It does, and what we're talking about is a formula, and so that the formula is critical. I mean, so we'll have to see how that works.
I think part of it, it's funny because, like you said, Sip, it's about money. I mean, whatever format these leagues take on, and we'll pick on the Big Ten because we're talking about the Big Ten, whatever format they take on, it's going to come with the wholehearted endorsement of their network partners.
Yeah,
because if this is an entertainment enterprise, so that's where it's going to go. But then for folks who say, well, but this is about getting a chance to play everybody. Well, nobody out there is really clamoring for more Nebraska-Rutgers games.
I am. I'm serious, though. They're in the same league. They should play them all the time.
But most people, the networks, Josh, the people that matter.
Fox doesn't
That's
want
not going to move the needle.
We want Nebraska-Rutgers.
Nebraska, Maryland. That's not going to be a big deal. Michigan State.
Purdue.
Well, and I'm thinking more of the newbie members because obviously the OG Big Ten members, there's some history there. So there's a selling point to Illinois, Michigan State that there isn't with Nebraska and Rutgers. But people aren't clamoring for that. They're just not. And yet we're using but everyone gets to play everybody else. Folks, these conferences are no longer scheduling partners. They're media partners. So whatever decision they come to, they might as well just go all in and say, we're doing this because it's a better, attractive product for our network partners than, we're doing this so the kids get to go to Rutgers twice every 4 years.
No. You know what's interesting? Now, I'm thinking out loud and try to follow me here and make sure I'm not going down the wrong path. There's something interesting to me about Nebraska and its tradition and its appeal. Nebraska, like its appeal works against them largely. If in a scheduling model put together by Big Ten and network leaders, they're not going to match Nebraska against Maryland. If it's Nebraska, what are we going to do here? How are we going to do this model? Whatever model, we need to use the model that has Nebraska facing Michigan and Michigan State and Ohio State more than any model that has them matched against Maryland, Rutgers, Indiana.
But at the same time, Maryland, Rutgers, Indiana need teams to play, right?
Right. But Nebraska still is Nebraska.
They are.
In name. And brand.
It works against them.
Like it. Yeah. It's phenomenal how many things seem to work against Nebraska nowadays to me.
Yeah, it's not, people are like, oh, they want them to play Ohio State so they can get screwed. No. They want Nebraska to play Ohio State because it's great for television ratings.
Exactly. Because Nebraska still draws.
Yeah.
It still draws.
So here's the key, friends. We need to stop being so popular on television to get a better balance.
Don't watch them anymore.
Don't watch them anymore.
Yeah, don't be a fan. Don't have so much passion in your DNA.
We need to drive those numbers under 1 million.
It is crazy. Sip, I don't know if I've ever heard somebody put it like you just did, but you are so spot on. Their national cachet works against them in terms of Big Ten scheduling.
It has. It has of late.
Yeah.
I mean, and if they were going to do this thing with the ACC and the Pac-12, Trev Alberts is the one who told me explicitly, look, I hope people understand we're not getting matched against Cal. We're getting matched against USC. And we're getting matched against Oregon. We're not going to have any gimme there. They're not going to do that. They're not going to match us against Washington State. They're going to match against Washington. And that's again, it's the same principle, right?
Yeah.
It certainly is. Steve Sipple, who promises that this is Wednesday or any day we can find that's open to him won't be a thing. That Mondays will be
Mondays.
Sip, it will be here to make Monday great again.
Yeah, I appreciate your patience.
We understand.
Guys
it's new. I mean,
listen,
you don't have to tell us. The whole deal right now is over you being able to take your shoes off in the office. Robin and friends, they don't like that idea. And so I know you're you're going through lawyers. I mean, there's a lot of stuff.
I'm just sort of a snowflake, and I get stressed out easy.
Hey, Sip, guess who's coming up later in the program today?
Oh, yeah.
Where's the drop? Guess who's coming on later in the program?
Don't tell me Stips.
Nope.
Parker.
Yeah, you see, the Denver Broncos making news. So we were like, let's get Parker on.
You know what? I don't think you'll mind me sharing this. I think Parker may be covering the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Finally, we can have a hockey guy again.
Act like you don't know that that's the case, but just say, hey, now you're in Denver. Would you be part of that Avalanche coverage?
Perfect. That's awesome. Good for him.
And then he'll say, yes, I am a part of an Avalanche coverage. I'm standing under it right now, and he's actually at an Avalanche.
No.
Somewhere in the Rocky
Parker's
Mountains.
doing a great job. I'm glad you're having him on. He is. He's doing a great job out there.
He is.
He's a force, that little fellow.
Mark that.
We are playing that back in an hour.
Yeah.
Sip, thanks, my friend. Take care. Have a great weekend.
Bye, Sip.
All right, guys.
Steve Sipple of On 3.
Interesting point at the end, because look, I've been pushing back for years that the Big Ten hates Nebraska. They don't hate Nebraska. Nebraska can be a very valuable property for the league, but it's true. That's why it's very valuable for the league to have Nebraska and Michigan, to have Nebraska and Ohio State, to have Nebraska and Penn State. It's
Which is
valuable.
why their permanent crossovers were against Ohio State and is designed to be against Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
It was supposed to start this year, but with the schedule being probably reformatted at some point, that may not last as long. But that's why.
Yeah.
They weren't going to make Nebraska and Rutgers the permanent crossover.
No, absolutely not.
All right, coming up, I'm going to go back to Phil Mickelson's press conference.
Okay.
So we can hear what he had to say. And my theory about how the Live Golf Tour could be as disruptive to golf as the AFL was to the status quo of professional football 50, almost 60 years ago.
I'm intrigued.
Actually, it is over 60 years ago. 1620 the zone. Oh, Brookside Medical. They're good. They work. ED meds. ED meds are fine. The blue pill works. We know this. But do you want to have everything in your life center around taking medicines? I mean, let's face it. Some of us are old enough. We're taking all kinds of medicines anyway. How about take one off and forget about it? Because the advanced wave technology at Brookside Medical has been shown by Cambridge University to restore and regrow blood vessels. That gets the blood flowing. That restores normal erectile function. Thus, you can function like you used to without having to time everything to the taking of a blue pill. Call now, 402-671-7777. Tell them you heard this spot on the zone and you can get a free consultation and blood flow ultrasound. Plus, they'll add an extra special gift that is sure to help in the bedroom. Call them today, Brookside. Advanced wave technology, it's non-surgical, so you're not having to go under the knife and have any recovery time. It works. Call them, Brookside, 402-671-7777.
Zone, taste of our takes. Sharp and Betting in the Morning.
Scott Chanley joining us here on Sharp and Betting in the Morning. Joe Burrow sat down for a podcast last week. They asked him about how many times he'd been sacked last season and what kind of a toll it said. And essentially what he said is sacks are an overblown stat. As a defensive guy, when you hear a quarterback say that, your response is?
He's a liar. I don't believe him one bit.
For more, tune in every day to 1620 a.m. or go to 1620thezone.com. Your Omaha area forecast presented by Funplex Water Park and Rides from the KETV Newswatch 7 Weather Center on 1620 The Zone.
Bright sunny skies will be greeting us for your Wednesday morning right into the early afternoon. I'm tracking a high temperature of 78 degrees. For tonight, I'm tracking a morning low of 57. Rainfall returns by Thursday. I'm meteorologist Anthony Copeland for KETV News Watch 7.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct, brought to you by a great friend of the program, Union Bank and Trust.
Join Blur Parties at Hilton Omaha this June as we host a premier college baseball championship tailgate. Experience an all-inclusive full bar and buffet, TV, music, and a variety of tailgate games. Book a corporate tailgate event or just hang out with friends. The best part is we're located on the south side of Charles Schwab Field at the Hilton Omaha. Visit blurparties.com to buy tickets or to find out about sponsorship opportunities. That's blurparties.com, your college baseball and football tailgate destination.
Damon Benning from Sharp and Benning in the Morning. When Lee Franklin Jr. moved to Omaha, he brought his love for Louisiana cooking with him. That's when he and his partner, Montoya Johnson, opened a Taste of New Orleans Creole Cafe inside of Ted and Wally's in Benson. A Taste of New Orleans is the go-to spot in the 402 for authentic Cajun and Creole cuisine. Andouille fries and sausage, beignets, po' boys, jambalaya gumbo, and so much more. A Taste of New Orleans Creole Cafe inside of Ted and Wally's in Benson. And be on the lookout for their food truck coming to a stop near you.
This is Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
Old creepy guy.
The 1620.
The Zone.
All right, so NWO Phil Mickelson did actually go in front of the press for the first time as part of his introduction to the world of live golf.
Which it is live golf,
I guess apparently it is. You'll
now,
hear it
maybe
here.
he's just saying it wrong.
Well, that's possible, too. But
He's an old.
My guess is if he's getting paid $150 million, it'd be like me getting paid $150 million from somebody and constantly mispronouncing their name.
Do you think they care, though? Do you think
The Saudis?
Saudis
Yeah, probably
care?
not.
No, brand people, they very
people
much care.
Brand people care.
I get
but,
mad on
you know,
behalf
there's-
of like Schaefer and Brunson, BC, when I hear people call that website 247. It's like, you idiots, 24/7. It's not that hard to figure out why they named it 24/7.
Yeah.
I digress.
You have this on the okay, so we can pause this because we're going to pause this on occasion because this is basically 2.5 minutes of a Q&A back and forth during the press conference with Phil Mickelson. He was asked, he was basically asked by a reporter if he was concerned about being seen as a tool of sports washing, which is the idea of using sports to launder the Saudi government and their transgressions, because a lot of the money coming for this effort is coming from the Saudi government.
Trying to take the country out, clean it off.
Or that he could be seen as a Saudi stooge. Pause that. Now,
it's live golf. Good to know.
The press conference is going to continue in the same direction there. But here's the thing. I mean, not to give them PR advice, and let's face it, at this point, their PR is it's hard to polish a turd.
It's hard to golf watch.
But this is, I mean, if we're going to keep hearing the same line over and over and over and over
Which
and
we
over and over,
we will.
From all of these golfers saying we have a chance to grow the game, we have a chance to make the game better, we have a chance to do this, chance to do that, then fine. Tell us how. Tell us how.
Basically, what you're saying is whenever we have heard complaints lately about name, image, likeness, transfer portal, we've gotten to the point, I know I've long reached it, where it's like, okay, that's awesome that you want to complain. Give me some ideas.
Give me an idea.
How do you want to reform this?
Yeah.
How do you want to fix it? Because at a certain point, you can't just keep complaining about it. You got to give us some options and ideas.
Because
or
if
in this
anything,
case, you got to give us some info.
From a PR sense, that at least steers the conversation more in a direction where the live golf folks want to take it. They don't necessarily want to keep, well, I know they don't. They don't want to keep the line of questioning continuing to be, how can you take this blood money? Are you a tool of sports washing? Are you a Saudi stooge? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, okay, why don't you get out there and be your own little cable news channel and start spinning your own message and steer the conversation in another direction? Because the more you're reticent to do that, the more these reporters are going to continue to hammer you. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't be hammered for this, because they should.
Also,
But
it's just nice to know, what are you talking
Right,
about? How do you
yeah.
want to fix it?
Yeah.
What is so bad that we don't know about?
why
that
is
you
the
want to
PGA
change?
Tour so awful?
Yeah.
Why is it that you guys who are getting paid gross amounts of money, I will continue to hammer this until the day I die. There are no more overpaid athletes in the world of sports than golfers. Sorry, that's just the way I feel.
Hey, if they bring in the money, they're worth what they're going to get paid.
But so why isn't it you're not making enough? Who's doing this to you? Why? Dish, tell us. Otherwise, you're going to keep getting questions like this. All right, back.
Phil, you also spoke about leverage. You used the word leverage, and here you are sitting representing the very people you were using to leverage. How do you explain that?
I've really enjoyed my time on the PGA Tour. I've had some incredible experiences, some great memories, and I have a lot of strong opinions on things that should and could be a lot better.
Like, pause it. Right there. That's an opportunity.
Like what?
He could have listed his grievances. Yeah. Air your grievances, Frank Costanza. Right now. Here's your Festivus. Air your grievances. That spins the conversation in another direction.
One of the mistakes I've made is voicing those publicly. So I will really make an effort to keep those conversations behind closed doors.
Big mistake.
Going forward. I think that's the way to be the most efficient and get the most out of it.
Bill, can you just clarify? You've apologized again just now. Can you just clarify what you're apologizing for? Is it you're sorry for speaking the truth about the Saudis, or are you sorry for the shameless hypocrisy of taking their money anyway?
I understand that many people have very strong opinions and may disagree with my decision. And I can empathize with that.
Jeez.
At this time, this is an opportunity that gives me a chance to have the most balance in my life going forward, and I think this is going to do a lot of good for the game.
Pause.
Real quick, I want to add this.
By the way, the balance in his life is he'll be able to get his checking account back in balance after he pays off all his gambling debts.
The funny thing is going into any press conference like this, or if you're going to go in front of a judge, or you're about to do a big interview with 60 Minutes where you're talking about transgressions, whatever it is, so often the person that is in that chair, they run through the questions. A debate, for example, you run through the questions. You make sure that you are as buttoned up as possible. The fact that he had that, I don't know how long that pause was, Nick, but it sounded like it was about 10 to 15 seconds, perhaps, when he was smacking his lips.
16.7.
16 seconds.
16 seconds
Rounded
of
up to
smacking
17.
lips. He must have been eating KFC.
It almost...
It's finger licking good.
It almost makes me think that
and the pieces are big.
He doesn't believe in what he's saying because he is truly trying to find the words and he can't even do it. He knows.
See, he's trying to do too many things. He's trying not to offend the Saudis who are paying him.
Yep.
He's trying not to say, hey, I'm just a greedy SOB and I want to get a big old paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
And he's trying not to hurt anyone's feelings in the PGA Tour. He's trying to do all three of those things. And at some point, Phil, you're just going to have to do one or the other, or you're going to continue to get grilled like this. And basically what he's now trying to do is penalty kill. He's just going to hope, hey, we'll end up doing a few more of these and a few more of these, and eventually they'll get tired of asking the question, and then I can move on with my life. That's what he's doing. He's trying to penalty kill.
Our attention spans are very, very short. And so eventually, look, once the events start happening and there's like 4 or 5 gone, we're not going to keep talking about it because we won't be watching and we won't be caring. That's what he's got to get through. He's just got to get through this initial phase and then he can move on.
Also, real quick, isn't it weird how he said, oh, I shouldn't have said that stuff publicly, so I'll only talk about the things that I believe in behind closed doors? That's a weird thing to say.
Well, I think he was talking about his issues with the PGA.
Oh, okay.
But it could be construed as next time I won't be so open about my, politics or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He could have actually been saying the same thing, meaning both things.
Phil, can you tell me if you are serving a ban or have served
I'm sorry, say again.
Can you tell me if you've served a ban or are serving a ban with the PGA Tour?
I choose not to speak publicly on PGA Tour issues at this time.
Can you say if you're going to play in next week's US Open?
I will play next week's U.S. Open. I'm looking forward to it.
And there you go. That was just about 2.5 minutes of the whole thing. But he wouldn't. I mean, basically, his non-answer says that the PGA probably encouraged him to take a respite. And if it wasn't him, it was his sponsors. Either way, somebody told Phil, "You need to sit out." So that was a little bit of Phil Mickelson.
By the way, Rory Mcilroy, he had a press conference today. He's participating in the Canadian Open this week. And
Which
he
is a
said,
PGA event.
he said, and this was about, of course, LIV. He says, any decision you make in your life purely for money doesn't usually end up going the right way. I've had that before a couple times in my life. He gave a great introspective answer a week or two ago. Somebody asked him, like, have you played golf for money versus, not playing golf for money? He goes, yeah, at a certain point in my career, that's what I was playing for. And he basically said, like, I'm in a position now where I don't have to do that. He can play to be great. And people have said that a lot about, like, they've compared Tiger versus Phil. Why did Tiger play golf? He wanted to be the best. Why did Phil play golf? To make money. And look, is that entirely fair for either guy? Because I know Tiger loves the money and I know Phil loved the winning. But, it is pretty interesting how you can find that with specific athletes where they do it purely for one thing and then others that do it purely for something else.
Dirk Chatelain of the Omaha World Herald had an interesting tweet yesterday, and my theory on why this could be more disruptive or as disruptive to golf as the AFL was to the NFL. We'll do that ahead of Mike Schaefer, who's coming up, and Parker Gabriel coming up as well. And we still have 100 days to college football, and we have
Parker,
this and that, and dumb debates, and
holy moly.
1620 the zone.
Hey everyone, Josh Peterson here for my friends at Kugler Vision. You've been wearing those glasses. You have been wearing those contacts for a long, long time. And I imagine that there are days where you are just incredibly frustrated. Perhaps it's a long night at the office. You had the contacts in. Your eyes are a little scratchy. Maybe it's a day like yesterday, an evening like last night, where it is pouring buckets. They're getting the rain, of course, getting all over your glasses. You get in the car, you clean them off. But what happens when you dry them off with a t-shirt? Well, you got streaks all over those glasses, and you deal with that for the entire drive home. I don't have that problem anymore. It's one of the small benefits that I had not even thought about when I scheduled that consultation over 4 years ago, but I think it's one of my favorite benefits of not having to wear glasses anymore. If you would like that benefit, along with the countless others, give them a call today, 402-558-2211, or you can go visit their website, kuglervision.com. The consultation process is great. They will have the answers to the questions that you have. A lot of information is on that website as well. You perhaps have been told in your life you do not qualify for LASIK. You're stuck with bad vision. Do not believe the latter. There are 7 FDA-approved vision correction procedures, and they offer all 7 of them at Kugler Vision. 402-558-2211 or kuglervision.com.
For the Jays, the Huskers, and even you Jayskers, we are 1620 The Zone.
There are actually 2 kinds of cigars. The first is the one you smoke with beloved family and friends. The second, the one you enjoy with friends you've just met. And you'll find both at Hearth Cigars and Pipes Lounge. At Hearth Cigars and Pipes Lounge, there's a well-stocked humidor with some of the best bands from around the world and a bar with your favorite cocktails and other drinkables. So what do you say? Which cigar will you be enjoying tonight? Hearth Cigars and Pipes Lounge, just off I-680 and 48th Street next to Cubby's.
Hey friends, Kent Pavelka here, back with John Higgins and the Rooferees at the Weather Guard showroom. A lot of people will, I had some bids here and just got to go with this guy.
We always ask the customer, did you get the referrals on those companies? Do your homework and check how long they've been in business. We try to stay really competitive. Doesn't matter if it's a Da Vinci wood shingle, asphalt shingle, vinyl siding, or hardy siding.
Just go with somebody who has the track record, right?
Right.
There's only one call to make. The Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Since this is a radio commercial, you can't see the people standing behind me. They're the Langfeld family. Everybody wave. Oh, sorry, you can't see them because Radio. Anyway, the Langfelds are the family behind Langfeld Overhead Door, where they proudly install Midland garage doors to fit any space and style, and they don't take a backseat to anyone when it comes to their service. Because if something goes wrong, it's their name on the line. So they're going to make sure it goes right every single time. Langfeld Overhead Door, 402-234-2700.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people, people who answer the phone and your chats, dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people, small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
1620 The Zone. Live and local, broadcasting 6A to 6P in the Host Coffee Zone studio. Host Coffee, offering office break room refreshment services to Omaha and Lincoln metro area businesses. Discover a better break room solution for your office at sales@hostcoffee.net.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required. Refund available for 60 days after purchase.
Have you heard about HIMS? Apparently they take the awkwardness out of treating ED, and the process is really straightforward.
HIMS? Yeah, my buddy gets his ED meds through them. Said their online process is much simpler than going to a doctor's office.
Oh yeah, their entire process is only a few steps, and they only ship ED meds from certified pharmacies in the U.S. that are 100% FDA approved. All you got to do is go to 4hims.com/radio. You just answer a few questions, select your treatment preferences, and fill out some health information. Then a healthcare provider reviews the info and determines which medication, if any, is right for you. If it's prescribed, it ships free right to your door.
I think I'm going to check these HIMS guys out.
And get this, the ED medication I was prescribed is 90% cheaper than Viagra and has the same active ingredient. I can finally satisfy my partner.
For a free online consultation, go to forhims.com/radio. That's forhims.com/radio.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct is brought to you by Union Bank and Trust. Now back to the program.
I know we got into this a little bit yesterday because someone asked us, what's the difference between this and the NBA and their relationship with China. Dirk Chatwin tweeted out last night. So let me get this straight. Live Golf is inexplicable, but the IOC and FIFA are tolerable. What's the difference? Tradition, TV rights? And it is a great point. The IOC is one of the most corrupt organizations there can be in sports. FIFA is a little better when you consider, how the bidding
process. You didn't say a little better. You said little better. I just want to.
Is little better.
Correct.
Yeah.
I agree. Not a little better. They're a little better.
Yeah. When it comes to, how these events get doled out. And obviously there have been dozens of building these facilities in Qatar because they do these relationships with sometimes these governments who don't always have the best interest.
Well, think about the Olympics. I mean, they literally participated in Russia. They participated in Brazil within the last decade.
China.
Back in 2008, they participated in China.
Every time I think back to the IOC, I think back to the story friend of the program, John Frankel, did for Real Sports when we had him on, and all the facilities that have gone to rot, and how many people were being displaced in Rio de Janeiro because they were basically redoing the city just to host the Olympics. So certainly there's something to be said there. The biggest difference...
I was going to say, I have a couple of theories. I have a couple things.
The biggest difference in my view is, first of all, I think, and I don't know this for a fact, but I think the IOC and FIFA started out with good intentions. And over time, as things get bigger and more money gets infused into the product, corruption can start. And by that point, the Olympic Games, the World Cup have been so ingrained in our sports culture that we as fans are willing to overlook the shady dealings with third world countries or dictators or shady governments, human rights violators. Now, some in the media have started to catch up, and that's true, but there are also a lot of very influential voices, and we talked about this yesterday with the NBA in China. Disney, aka ESPN, they've got dual interest. They got the interest in the NBA doing well because they have a part of the product, and they have an interest of keeping peace with the Chinese because they sell a lot of stuff there. Well, the same thing with the Olympic Games, with the World Cup. I mean, you've got the networks and media conglomerates and partners that are all intertwined here, and they're not gonna upset the apple cart.
If you're expecting Fox this winter to cover the World Cup and do some investigative journalism, don't hold your
You
breath.
mean Sean Hannity's not going to have that on his show?
I was thinking more the actual Fox, but no, Sean won't be doing any of that either because they want to make sure that.
Wonderful Tuck. You think Tuck will do some things on his show?
I'd be surprised. I would be surprised, but I could be wrong.
Nobody silences Tuck.
I could be wrong, but I think you just hit on something.
Except Mrs. Tuck.
Like those do happen. And yesterday we were talking about relationships that other leagues have with networks or other sports media has with the sports that they cover, and we should have brought up the IOC and we should have brought up FIFA because the media that covers those entities, they are not fans of them either. And the IOC every 2 years gets absolutely blasted by people in the sports industry, whether it's media or fans alike. So I think you're spot on there. And I think what you said too about when they started, how ingrained they are, and now look, do I watch the Olympics? Will I watch the World Cup? Of course. Do I understand the heinous activities that have taken place? Absolutely, I do. But I think what you just said there, and look, maybe that makes me a hypocrite. You know, it is ingrained. The live golf is not ingrained in my life.
Exactly.
You know?
And
this is a new thing.
Yes, it's brand new. It's starting from now.
Yeah.
Whereas those, in a way, the sports laundered these organizations long ago. Also, live golf is going to be a more everyday thing or an every week thing. The Olympics only happens once every 4 years.
Yeah.
You know, in the years where the Olympics aren't happening, there's not usually a lot of Olympic stories. Same with the World Cup.
And when there are stories, it's about them, it's literally about Qatar and building stadiums and all the people that died. And the other thing too that I thought of in response to what Dirk said was, for the most part, FIFA and the IOC are not paying the athletes to participate. If you are a good runner, your goal is to get to the Olympics, not because you want to make money from IOC. It's because you as an individual want to chase after a gold medal. Meanwhile, Phil is being paid by this organization, which is being funded by the government. So I think that is another big differentiator between what's happening with this new golf league and what happens with the World Cup and what happens with the Olympics. Now, look, of course, the athletes are going to make money off of that. They can make endorsement money. And I'm not, 100% positive that FIFA, there is a pool. If you make it X far, you get money. If you make it further, you get money. If you win, there is a pot. And so, yeah, FIFA certainly does pay that out. But there's a difference, right, between chasing glory, getting some money because you won versus getting paid just to participate, no matter if you win or lose.
And I think it's also important with what the FIA, also an organization that deals a lot with these Middle Eastern countries. A lot of the drivers for not just Formula One, anything under that umbrella, are pretty vocal about it. And a lot of them say they could do more change from inside than they can by not participating. If they're in the country, they can do things to forward change. I don't know if that's just a feel-good thing or if that's also a possibility.
And we see that sometimes with, especially I think of Olympic athletes, some of the causes that they have stood up for over the years.
Sure. Now, here's the problem if you're the PGA Tour.
Oh, yeah, because I want to hear this.
There are a couple of things I think are at play here that make the live golf more dangerous than any other upstart sport or league has been to establishment since probably the 1960s. I don't think the live golf folks, aka the Saudi government, have a real desire to make profit from this. There's no way that they can make profit from this with the kind of money that's being thrown out there and for the few number of tournaments and the fact they don't even have a media deal right now. Where's live golf making its money? I don't think that's even the purpose of this. The purpose behind this is
to sports wash, like you said.
They want to sports wash.
Yeah.
So if you have no real desire to make profit and you're just going to throw money at the deal and you got money to burn. And secondly, that money is essentially FU money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, there's another golfer out there that's dissatisfied with the PGA. Well, here's some FU money. With those things at play, and we've already seen, Dustin Johnson, Mickelson, DeChambeau, Reed, Sergio. I think the more and more of these guys, it's just like what I talked about with college sports. There's a lot of follow the leader. Hey, these guys are taking the hits for me right now, but if I join, I won't be taking nearly as many hits. I think it could end up, especially if these first few tournaments go okay, if the players, seem to like the experience, there could be a lot more folks who say, wow, there's real money here. And yeah, I am kind of dissatisfied with whatever is happening on the PGA Tour. It wouldn't surprise me. And again, it really depends on how long the Saudis want this thing to go. How much money do they really want to pour into this? And if it's making the golfers coin, what's there to stop it? What's there to stop it from being a bigger deal because the bigger name golfers are going there, which is now going to put Monahan and the PGA in a pinch because he said, hey, you're either with us or you're with them. They may have to back down from that stance if more of these people continue to defect. And if you had the USGA yesterday say, hey, we're not gonna cast judgment. If these guys qualified for the US Open, they're in the US Open. We don't care what league they're affiliated with. If the other majors follow suit, well, that's another feather in the cap for Live Golf because those are the tournaments everyone really wants to win. These other tournaments, yeah, of course, anyone who competes, they want to win. But the tournaments they really want to win, the ones that give them the legacy, are the big four.
So I'll read a few tweets, but before I do, I want to say this. Like, for a while, it seemed like a really weird, kind of funny, ha-ha story. And look, you can say what you want about Bryson and Patrick Reed. Like, I don't like either of them either, but those are important names. They are important young golfers that have won major championships in the last half
decade.
They
can draw viewers.
So a couple tweets from Shane Ryan first. He covers golf. He says, on one hand, it makes total sense for the unpopular players who already hate the PGA Tour, Reed, Bryson, to jump. On the other hand, this feels like a bad slow drip exodus. We're at the point where one really big unexpected name would be a massive dagger. Basically cue the stick to sports drop for the next tweet. You don't have to do it, Nick, but he says, I swear this is the last time I'll get political with this, but the rhyme or the rhythms feel so much like Trump's first campaign to me. Kind of a sideshow, has some momentum, but we don't know how much. The instinct to laugh it off, lots of original gaffes and befuddlement on the other side. And Kyle Robbins, who we read some stuff from him yesterday, he followed up and said, yeah, we're all laughing about this until one guy like, I don't know, Brooks or Morikawa breaks and you have a problem. And I think that those are pretty astute observations because he's right. We have kind of treated this as like, oh, that's stupid and that's funny. And wow, look at these golfers falling all over themselves with their quotes and acknowledging the human rights abuses. They all come off like idiots. And for, look, the majority of the golfers that they have so far, if I don't have to ever watch them again, like it's not going to upset me. But I mean, Bryson is an important golfer in today's game.
Yes, he is.
Patrick Reed won the Masters 3-4 years ago. I mean, like Kyle Robbins said, if one of those types of big names joined this, it's something to be reckoned with. And so I think that you have a good observation here, man. I really do.
Every other league that's ever tried to start up, the idea has been we want to establish ourselves and make money. But if there's no impetus here, the Saudis to want to make money off of this, what is to stop them?
Yeah.
Because that's the thing that did in the USFL and the World Football League and the ABA is, well, our teams weren't profitable enough. We weren't drawing enough viewers. We weren't drawing enough fans.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't care if they make any money off this deal and all they're doing is they're buying trophy golfers to show up and cleanse their nation's transgressions, again, the only thing that's going to stop them is, we're kind of bored with this now, so we'll stop doing this.
Yeah.
But now that they've spent this kind of money to bring these golfers in, I don't think they have any desire. I mean, obviously they want to do something.
Yeah. I'm curious to see who's next, because like I said,
somebody will be next.
Yeah. For a while, the golfers that they got, I mean, like Phil, huge name, obviously, but look,
at the end of his career.
Yeah. He's way past his prime. He's into his 50s.
Dustin Johnson is the biggest name in my opinion.
Yeah. Him or DeChambeau. I mean, those guys both won majors lately. I would say that DeChambeau is probably more known.
But Dustin's more popular.
I would say that I would agree with you there. Yeah, and that
but you got your face in your heel.
Yeah, and I would even say DJ has kind of become unpopular for a lot of the hardcore golf fans. I'm curious if one of the big time popular dudes will join, like Morikawa. he is a very liked guy. I don't know anybody.
Give me a top 5. Who are the top 5? If one of these 5 defect, it's like, whoa.
I mean, now I read a tweet or a quote earlier from Rory. Like, that would be pretty big. I don't think that's going to happen. But I think if Colin Morikawa, I think Brooks Koepka, Scotty Scheffler, like those types of dudes, if they bounce, that would be like, then I think we'd all have to take a little more notice.
Mike Schaefer's going to join us next, and we'll be back on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone Traffic.
From the Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More Time-Saving Traffic Center. Heads up, looks like there's some stop-and-go traffic on northbound 90th between Ida Street and State Street. Slow going on eastbound and westbound I-80 between 60th and I-680. And then if you're headed north, on the JFK, stop-and-go traffic from Childs to Chandler. If you're headed south, on the JFK, stop-and-go traffic from Q to Childs. I'm Mike Neville. This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Methodist Health System.
When envisioning what kind of future is possible, the challenges never stop. And neither do we. Methodist, the meaning of care.
Don't miss this week's Zone Deal.
This week's half-off deal from Langfeld Overhead Doors gets you a half-horsepower chain LiftMaster door opener, 1 remote, and installation valued at $450 for only $225. A LiftMaster garage door opener with remote plus installation half off for $225 is this week's half-off deal.
Zone deals go fast. 9 a.m. Friday, 1620thezone.com.
For thousands across the heartland, summer means one thing: hunger. Having extra mouths to feed, paired with the rising cost of food, puts an additional strain on already tight budgets. Families need your support now more than ever. Stop by the Food Bank for the Heartland's Stuff the Truck event on Saturday, June 11th at the Baker's Lakeside location off 173rd and Center from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Your donations of non-perishable items will fill tables with food and hearts with hope. Help the Food Bank strike out hunger this summer.
Email Unsportsmanlike Conduct on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox with whatever is on your mind, from your hot takes to what you think is one. The Zone inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. We want to hear from you on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox.
You want 8 of the flutes and onyx.
Shira's hand-blown glassware blows right off her store's shelves.
Back for more indigo bowls.
She needs an inventory manager to help keep her stock on lock.
These are 100% borosilicate. Those aren't. Hey, can someone check the temp on the kiln?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Earn up to $500 in sponsored job credits by conducting interviews on Indeed. Visit Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Planning something fun for your office, family, or friends? Joe's Karting is for you. Take a break. Come to Joe's to race, relax, and recharge. Great for team building. Ditch the speaker and burn some rubber. Trust us, Joe says you'll leave motivated. Joe's Karting race packages range from providing simple stress relief races to the real deal race experience. Check us out at joeskarting.com. Remember, go to Joe's, your place to race.
Shingles add beauty, protection, and value to your home. You want CertainTeed shingles. Carp's Complete Home Exteriors is a certified CertainTeed shingle master. When it comes to your roof, CertainTeed Shingles and Carps have you covered. Online at carpsomaha.com.
Heading to a cookout with family or friends? Heading home from a ball game? Or heading no place in particular on a random weekday? All seems like great reasons to head over to Ted and Wally's Ultra Premium Ice Cream. Hey, it's Damon Benning from Sharp and Benning in the Morning. Ice cream on a hot summer day or night is awesome. And ice cream from Ted and Wally's is even awesomer. Yes, it's a word. You know me. I make them up, but not this time. Cones, cups, pints, quarts, even half gallons to go. Head to Ted and Wally's Ultra Premium Ice Cream. Celebrating more than 35 years, 2 locations, Benson and the Old Market. Visit tedandwallys.com.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs.
Greeting, Earthlings. We have now taken over your radio.
Mike Schaefer.
See, I would argue, because I like to argue, we all underestimated how hard it is to, 1, win college football games, and 2, transition and take over a program.
Mike Schaefer.
I was trying to kindly tell Mr. Bishop the Vikings have a chance to surprise some people, and I think that they could even win the division.
Mike Schaefer.
It doesn't seem like the kind of book where they would be hooked on meth. That got dark.
Mike Schaefer.
There he is, my friends. Mike Schaefer. Thanks, Shafe. Josh,
you're welcome.
You believe that?
Shafe?
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Oh,
Nick, is Schaefer
People
on?
keep muting the website. Other producers.
But is he on?
Go ahead,
Hello?
Shafe.
There you are.
Did
Sorry,
Nick
we had
screw up?
Yeah.
It wasn't me. I
Fam-
ask
famous
I
last
ask
words.
other people, hey, you don't have to do this, and then they do it anyway.
Hi, Shafe.
I'm doing well. Thanks for
Good.
having me in. I just real quickly want to hit on Connor Happer would like a refund from Major League Baseball for his cable bill.
Yeah.
Because they're putting
It's on regular YouTube. It's not even on YouTube TV.
Well, that's the thing. He wants a refund because he can't watch the game on his television, but the game is available to him in any sort of form that has YouTube.
Okay. Royals fans, I've come after you before. I'm coming after you again. Shut the hell up. As somebody who grew up with the Cubs on WGN every single day, you are spoiled. Okay. I have to now pay. Well, actually, I don't have to pay. Thank you, T-Mobile Tuesdays. But I would have to pay to see my team. So go to YouTube, enjoy it. But I don't want to hear you complaining anymore. All your games are on TV, so enjoy.
Okay.
There, off my soapbox.
No, that's fine. I just wanted to point out that Happer wants a refund for something that he isn't actually not able to see.
Amazing.
And instead, he's watching whatever the
Damn
Bally
millennials.
Sport, whatever the Bally Sports equivalent of Campus Eats is right now, instead of this game on.
You would think the opportunity not to hear Rex Hudler would have them streaming over to YouTube, but
It had them streaming to stream.
yeah, exactly. What's going on?
I don't know what is going on. I mean, the big visit weekend. We talked to BC earlier this week. Brunts yesterday. I mean, the 24/7 guys. They got
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, you're kind of the third fiddle now. I mean, you're third
Whoa.
in a row.
Yeah. Sorry.
So so BC Monday, Brunts yesterday, me today. So you got all three of us in by Wednesday. That's
Uh-huh.
pretty good. What
Yeah.
are you going to do for Thursday and Friday?
Do you have any interns?
We do actually.
There we go. Let's get the interns on.
I'll send you Will's number. He's going to be starting with us when he gets back from summer vacation.
That sounded like a Bill Clinton question. Where are the interns?
No. Also,
90s humor. Am I right?
When he gets back from summer vacation, is he like 13? How old is this intern?
He's a college student.
Oh, summer vacation. Dare to dream, folks. Dare to dream.
I was so jealous. You know, the youngest is now, you know, graduated, and this is that beautiful time where you're not having to go to school. And I'm so jealous. It's like you realize how easy you have it right now.
Yeah.
Don't tell me about your worrying about the future and how college is going to go. You got it.
Just have
so
fun.
Easy. You got it so easy.
In all seriousness, Shafe, it's felt kind of like the old recruiting days. And maybe it's just because we've been living so much in like 20 and 21 when like no one was allowed to do anything. But it doesn't even feel like 2019. It feels like 2015, 2016.
I wanted to know what you meant by old recruiting days.
Yeah, like at 5 years ago. You know, the old, like the Mike Riley, Bill Callahan, Bo Pelini stuff.
Like when Nebraska would be recruiting a certain player that would have to make his phone calls from a hotel because he didn't have any other line of communication. And so that's where his mom worked. So they had to talk to him, you know, like those old days.
It's a very specific example.
Because that's within the last decade. And I can let people figure that out if they want.
And now
but that was the real story.
And now recruits just answer questions via DM or texting. Or they call a press conference on a random Sunday.
Yeah. I mean, there's anything and everything is available to the recruits of tomorrow. And so they can take advantage of any resource that they would like. But no, it's been a lot of fun. I mean, it got started before the calendar even turned to June when you had the big visit weekend nearly 3 weeks back where you had Caden Green and Jaden Doss and Dylan Edwards. And so it's just a continuation of that. They had 13 visitors in. I think they're set for 7 coming up here this weekend. Tatum Tuioti just tweeted out. So he's, I think, the 7th at this point. So that's 23 official visitors for the 2023 class. And you're just halfway into June at that point, June 17th. That weekend looks like it's going to have double digits. I mean, they're probably going to have 30 some kids on campus for official visits before we're even in July. Like, that's kind of remarkable when you think about it.
Yeah. So what's that going to leave them for in season in terms of number of officials?
Doesn't really matter. You never hit your 55 number anyways. I mean,
good point.
The highest I think any staff has got, and it was a transition year, would have been like the 2017, 2018. So the 2018 class, I think, had like 47 total official visits.
Okay.
And a lot of that, again, because you had guys commit and then decommit. And so you host a lot at that point in time. But I'd be surprised if they touch 50 by the end of the year. Something to revisit.
How many schools max out, Shafe? You know?
None. Nobody does.
Nobody maxes out?
Some schools don't even come anywhere close to using, 30 official visits. Some schools don't really believe in doing official visits until a kid's committed or deep along in the process where they feel like the kid is going to commit. I mean, it's a costly expense. I mean, so it's an area, if you want to try to save a little bit of money, you're maybe a little more judicious about using those official visits than, what a Nebraska would necessarily be.
What?
Go on.
I was going to say, Shape, what most interests you right now with Nebraska recruiting? Because there are so many storylines, whether it's the in-state players, some of the more recent commitments. I know that I'm kind of blown away by conversations already about guys that just finished either 8th grade or 9th grade, including a quarterback that is at my alma mater now, Omaha North. There's a lot of storylines. What most interests you?
Yeah, I think right now it's probably 2 different position rooms that maybe they're done by the time you get to July. Like, we're talking wide receiver, you have Omarion Miller. I don't know why I want to keep calling him Omar Marion. I don't know who that is, but I keep trying to do that. Omarion Miller, the wide receiver from Louisiana, was just up here. A bunch of crystal ball predictions for him. Malachi Coleman, I think Nebraska is going to ultimately end up with. Barry Jackson was up here. Jaden Doss is already committed. You've got who am I forgetting? Joshua Manning was here through Monday. He came up a little bit later on his official visit. So there's a chance where you end up with a Manning and a Miller and a Malachi and Jaden Doss or Barry Jackson, and that's kind of like your wide receiver class. And Mickey Joseph is already done with 2023 and can start really kind of working in on 2024 or helping out with other positions. And then Donovan Raiola is in the similar situation where you have 3 in-state offensive line commits. So it's the kind of year where you take advantage of what's right there. And then you're trying to add Amir Herring, who I think they have a really good chance with, a 4-star interior offensive lineman. And then one of the big guys in Zalance Hurd, who's coming in for a visit this weekend. He was blocking for A.J. Allen at Neville High School in Monroe, Louisiana last year. And Caden Green has already made his official visit. Junior Sia is a guy from Utah that's 6'6", 305 pounds. Heath Ozeta is an offensive lineman from Utah that's coming out for a visit. So they might be in a situation where they kind of have their offensive line and their wide receiver rooms done fairly quickly. And so because of that, it allows those guys to start working in advance, or, in the case of Mickey Joseph especially, you can use him to help recruit other positions. And I think they've also, the other thing that really stands out to me, they've done a nice job getting back into Kansas City. Texas feels as open to Nebraska recruiting-wise as it has been in a few cycles, and a lot of that is the good work of Brian Applewhite. Louisiana suddenly feels like it's a thing that Nebraska is going to take 2 or 3 kids from a state that, had been very fruitful. And I think John would know this as well as anybody in this conversation. Nebraska's had some great players that have come through Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
And so you got these kind of new areas popping up to go right there with your Floridas and your Georgias and your in-state kids. And so, I think they're doing a nice job blending a lot of the further outside the region with the kids that they can have success with, and then blending it with the kids that you're going to win inside the 500-mile radius.
Yeah, basically, if they could only just find a former Husker alum who's a good coach who, is from the state of Georgia, then they'd kind of have things set up. Because, Mickey Joseph it's a perfect storm. Former Husker, but he spent a lot of time in Louisiana. He knows all the parishes upside and down the other. And you're right. I mean, Louisiana has been a tremendous state in the past for Nebraska. And I realize we constantly bounce back and forth. Well, this is what Nebraska should do recruiting wise. And we've been doing it for 20 years. But, the old formula used to be California, Texas, Louisiana. Those are the big states you hit, Florida, and then everybody else, from relatively close. And it seems like there's at least a trend that's heading back in that direction.
Yeah, it's a lot of taking advantage of where your connections are. Brian Applewhite has connections down in Texas, and that's opened some doors. And you got some kids in the 2024 class that are coming up for unofficial visits now that turn into official visits later. And so I think that's been very helpful. I don't even know that they have to have a Nebraska connection in Georgia. It certainly wouldn't hurt. But Sean Beckton is so connected there, and Travis Fisher is pretty well connected now in the Atlanta area. And if you continue to have success with kids in that area, it's the fastest growing metro, I think, in the United States. It produces, I think, more NFL players per capita than any other city in the United States. And you have a lot of former NFL players retiring to the Atlanta area, which then only populates more football players. So it's certainly an area where if Nebraska has continued success with players, if Caleb Tanner goes and has a good year, Miles Farmer has a good year, Quentin Newsome makes the NFL as a cornerback, being able to replicate success in an area and show it is one of the big things in college football. I mean, Ohio State is Ohio State and they can recruit anywhere, but their success in St. Louis is directly tied to Ezekiel Elliott, going in and getting him and him being a monster. Everybody in St. Louis knows Ezekiel Elliott. So then you turn around and you recruit the rest of that area, and it makes it that much simpler. I mean, it's true, if you pull out players in other areas, Oklahoma has success in Kansas City. Why? Because they've had a number of defensive players that have had really good years and been all Big 12 and made the NFL and things like that. So you take advantage of where your players are successful and where they come from. And you can double back on that pretty easily with recruiting. If Trey Palmer has a good career at Nebraska and Dakotas Crawford, or they end up with, an O'Marion Miller, like down the line, it only gets easier to recruit Louisiana when you can show these kids. And that's, certainly Mickey makes it easier all the time.
Shafe, I've heard the word momentum thrown around a lot, and not even, with recruiting listed before it. We've done this many times in previous off seasons. When you have heard that word as of late, what have you thought? And does it mean anything for the fall, or is this just they have recruiting momentum right now? But if we're talking about them on the field, in Dublin, it's a different story.
I think so. How do I want to phrase this? I think because Nebraska has played so poorly, and because the 2022 recruiting class was so bad, we're probably overstating how fresh and how unique it is that Nebraska is having a strong June. Nebraska generally always does well in this month. Nebraska is a wave recruiting program. They have big waves. June and July is usually big wave. November, December is your other big wave. Occasionally you get some run in January and maybe early February. But so I think a little bit it gets to be somewhat overstated because it had been so bad, because recency bias stands out so much to us, and because they couldn't do a lot of this stuff in 2020 and 2021.
Yep.
And because of that, it feels so fresh and it feels so different. And they really do have momentum. I mean, I don't want to take that away. I mean, when you get guys that are talking about your program and tweeting about your program and their top 247 players, that's only going to kind of help. Now, where this conversation always gets tricky is when we try to take what's happening off the field and we assume that it has any sort of bearing of what's going to happen in Ireland, or when they play Oklahoma, or when Iowa comes to town. I don't think anything that's happening with recruiting is going to matter when they're playing Dublin and it's 3rd and 1 and you need to get a first down.
Yeah.
So it's two different things. Now, they can channel this and feel good about their program, feel good about their offseason, and you take that into your workouts, and then you develop leaders and you develop guys that are going to push the people around him. That can definitely be a thing. But it just feels like we want so badly for college football to be this year-round thing. Like we want the bowl game that a team wins to be what spurs them at the start of the next year. And it's just total BS. It's like absolute BS. Like it has, the best example of this is 2008, Nebraska beats Clemson. And we act like somehow that's what made 2009 or 2009's finish against Arizona is what started 2010. I mean, no, it didn't. Like the collection of the talent and the development of those individuals and really the explosion of Sue at the end of 2008 is what created 2009. Jared Crick becoming an all-world defensive lineman in 2009 makes it easier in 2010 when Prince Amukamara is hanging back there and Jake Locker can't hit anybody in the first row with a throw. Like, I mean, so it's, I think we really want sports to have this, like we want momentum to mean more than it does. And I really think it needs to stick to when the ball is in play. I mean, that's really when it matters. And even then there's enough people who feel like that doesn't even exist.
So if you had a team that won a bowl game, a Super Bowl game.
Oh, good Lord.
Sorry. That momentum doesn't carry over?
No. They're going to lose on opening night to the...
I don't know. I mean, look at it this way. If you're the Rams, it's a pretty good sign. You already have your running backs getting hurt in the offseason. I mean, that's how it started last year for you. It feels kind of like repeat city, right?
You stop. You just stop.
17-0, maybe. Some are saying.
I'm trying to tell you that it's a good sign.
Okay. All right. I know. Viking fans are into their superstitions, so I get that. I get all that. Brock Knudsen, you mentioned, there's now 3 offensive linemen all in state. He was the most recent to commit. Is there anything more here beyond, what kind of a player he is? And do you see him as can he be a contribute early type guy, or is he a development guy?
I mean, I always think offensive linemen are development type guys.
I do too, but you know how things get pushed up timeline.
Like the perfect example of this for me is that I was never particularly impressed watching Teddy Prohaska in high school. Like I could see it. I could see why he was a college talent because you can't teach that kind of size and that arm length and everything. But I never walked away from a game thinking that he like out and out dominated. And then the guy freaking stonewalls Hutchinson for a half, as a true freshman. So really, what the hell do I know about offensive line play, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I don't look for him to be a guy that's going to be competing in 2023 right off the bat, but he's got size that you can't teach. I think the important thing is that you get these kids, when you're playing in these high school programs, you don't always have the best coaching from a technical standpoint, and certainly with the offensive line. So I think if you get good coaching and you can develop your technique, you can unlock a level of a player that maybe isn't visible at their high school film. And so that could be possible. And so maybe he could play earlier than expected. But any of these guys, whether it's Gunnar Gatula, who I like quite a bit, or Sam Sledge, who, if you talk to some people, he might be the best offensive lineman in the state. And then, now Brock Knudsen, it's just a matter of, can they get there and will they take in the teaching and will it fit? I mean, all of them, I think, have the ability to help out as depth, and any of them could end up being a multi-year starter. I don't know that any one has a faster track than the other out of those 3.
Shafe, I did want to ask you before we let you go. I mentioned him earlier, just didn't by name. Sebastian Serco. He actually did not even play for Omaha North last year, but he's been picking up offers since actually the beginning of the year. I believe his first one was in January from Ole Miss. Picked up another one recently. Have you ever seen anything though like this? It's not that he's so young, but it's that he barely played on the varsity team with Burke last year. Can you remember a story like this? Maybe not even locally, but even in some of the regional states around here.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely will come across it where there's a quarterback recruit that's out there that has a rating, that has offers, and his film is mostly JV stuff because the starter in front of him is the starter in front of him. We actually have a local example of this. Daniel Kalen had multiple Power 5 offers going into his sophomore year and lost the quarterback battle over at Bellevue West. And so I don't think it's a guarantee for that Sebastian's going to be a starter for Omaha North this year either. So it's one of those things. I mean, coaches see potential. They want to get in early. They want to build that relationship early. And, guys do well on the camp circuit or on the 7-on-7 circuit, and you kind of go from there. So it's going to be a lot of fun to follow. I mean, we didn't even talk about this, but you have, Mickey Joseph makes an offer to a kid who just finished 8th grade. I mean, in Deshaun Prince at Omaha Benson over the weekend. So that's now we talked about Davon Hall or Christian Jones or, Tyson Terry being one of the earliest offers ever. Now we got a kid who has an offer before he's ever even played a freshman football game, which is remarkable. But that's kind of where we're going. I don't know that it's going to get much earlier than that. I don't want it to. That feels like I'm not banging on the door to do a bunch of stories on kids that haven't even played a high school football game yet. But that's kind of where we're at in terms of recruiting right now.
Mike Schaefer going to 6th grade football games. This guy might get a Power 5 offer in a few years.
I am only showing up if the coach promises me they're going to try the double wide receiver reverse pass.
Okay.
I thought you were going to say only if the head coach allows me to also enjoy in the fruit snacks and cookies at halftime.
Well, I mean, I don't know that anyone's ever told me no if I just walk over and take a handful. So, I don't know if anyone's tried this, but let's say there's just a youth soccer tournament going on and you see some oranges sitting out. Like if you just went up and took an orange, is someone going to tell you no?
Yeah, the parents are too busy yelling at the referees to pay attention to that.
Right. Like maybe this should be the strategy. I just need to go to the youth sports complex instead of going to the store or Costco for free samples.
There you
just
go.
Go to the youth sports complex, walk around a little bit, grab an orange slice here, get a little Gatorade there. I mean, it seems like a viable option.
The distractions of parents yelling at the umps and the referees. I think you'll be just fine.
Yeah.
I think you'll be just fine.
I was actually at a youth soccer thing like a month ago for one of Shelby's cousins' kids or something. Cool. And I was impressed.
The benefits of marriage.
None of the parents said anything to the officials like the entire game.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and to be honest, and it might just be the way that their program works, but the only one really yelling instruction to the kids was the coach. Like it was like as well behaved as a sideline as you could come across, considering that I read all of these stories about insane little league parents and everything else. I was impressed. So nice work, Elkhorn. You know who you are. So there you go.
Look at society. Give it
up. It's getting better, maybe.
Hey,
exactly.
Let's go society.
There was a conversation going off the air here earlier where Nick was like, "Yep, that's when I lost all faith in humanity," and Josh was like, "I was right there with you."
No, I said 4 years later.
And
the positive
and now society's
back,
again.
folks. This is awesome.
Society's back. Okay.
Society is back, and
saying.
we're all going to be spending our summers, with the campfires again, like we were 2 years ago, not because of COVID this time, but because no one can afford to go anywhere.
Oh.
Well, I thought you were going to say everyone was going to be singing Kumbaya because society's back.
The society's back.
Should.
This is awesome. Go society.
You guys would appreciate earlier today, I white knuckled 13 miles with the double bars to get to a gas station. It was I was to highlight where I was
at the mortgage lender to take out a loan so that you could actually afford the gas.
No, I mean the gas was expensive. Don't get me wrong. I don't enjoy paying those prices, but I had to get to the Eagle Casey's, and I was not.
One? Aren't there like two of them?
No, I think there's only one now.
Still two of them? Oh, okay. There's one.
I wasn't even to Alvo yet when I hit the double bars. I was a little concerned.
Wow.
Alvo, Josh, is in western Nebraska.
I was going to say,
no, I know exactly where that is.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because the speedway's right over there. So you know that.
It's right off the 420.
Yeah, of course you know where
it's right off the 420.
420.
By the way, is that a Casey's they're building?
69.
There at Interchange?
It's a Speed Mart, I think.
Oh, a Speed Mart.
It'll be a Casey's, though.
Eventually, you buy everything.
Yeah, exactly.
I was getting kind of excited if they're building a Casey's there because I pass that exit every day. It's like, well, that could be a game changer for the old lunch stop.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
but
I had Casey's for breakfast last weekend. It was great. Awesome Saturday. Stop saying you're welcome. You didn't do that. You're not Biden. You can't say I did that.
My state did that.
Nah, That doesn't
You
count.
love a thing from Iowa.
Yeah, I love high.
Other than me.
Who was Casey anyway?
Thompson, buddy.
Well, I know the guy works hard, but I'm guessing he doesn't work that hard where he built a convenience store, conglomerate before birth
Mm-hmm.
and invented the great pizza.
Do we know if Casey was a last name or a first name there?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. You should know this.
Come on, Nick.
Isn't
He's
this
your
like in
king.
the Iowa state curriculum to graduate from high school? You got to know the history of Casey's. And now he's having to look it up.
Wow.
See,
I am looking it up.
so lame.
He's
All
probably was Google imaging made right sandwiches. So
We
that's
call
the
them
other
man.
big thing in Iowa, right? Made
I
right.
I don't like the homemade. I like Manwich better.
Well,
All right.
Manwich is sloppy Joe. Made right doesn't have the sauce in it.
That's why I don't like them that much.
Sloppy Joe's bad. That's my take.
Bad
Oh
take.
my gosh.
Sloppy Joes are
Horrible.
fine.
Just eat a burger like an adult. Why do I want the meat falling all over the place with the nasty sauce in there?
What's
This
wrong
is a
with the
terrible, terrible food
Yeah, I
opinion.
thought you guys would be like, yeah, good take, Josh.
No, the
No,
sauce is
sloppy joes
good.
are incredible.
Dominic
They're not
Lamberti, by the way.
Incredible.
It's
You'd
not
rather
a
have
meal. It's not a meal. It's a manwich.
I don't want a manwich either. I don't want any.
Sometimes
of
you
these
just don't want a hamburger. Sometimes you want to have a little bit of the
I
sauce.
want chicken.
You put some pickles on there, or maybe some jalapenos. I like to put a little jalapenos on
Some
my man.
cheese. It's very good.
Yeah,
Nope, not good at all.
with some tots.
This is a terrible Josh food.
This is a good take.
This is like when I learned about you and having basically never ate anything before you turned 22 or whatever it was.
He's afraid of any fruit.
Not
that's,
afraid.
"Oh, I don't want my fruit to be sullied by anything. It's got to be raw right off the tree." Sicko.
Ah.
All right, Mike Schaefer, ladies and gentlemen.
We got
He's
there.
wearing the hat 24/7.
Not
sports.
247.
Not 247.
24/7. You idiots.
Or maybe it's 247.
from Husker 247.
247.
Hey, that's better than when people say 247.
I know.
I was coming to your defense earlier, Shape. I don't understand it. Do they not get the name? Obviously, they don't.
I say 247 sometimes too because it's just like easier to say that out. Like
Wow, I'm trying to
So-
defend your site.
like when it's the top 247, it sounds stupid to say it that way.
No, I would agree. Yeah, that's the
So
top.
the top 247 sounds better than top 247.
Yeah, I would agree. But
Even-
the website,
even though it is the
24/7.
top 247.
Right.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was founded by a guy named Dominic Lombardi.
Casey's was?
Yeah, and it's called Casey's because his friend that he made, Casey Fish, owned a gas company. He's like, hey, what if you sold gas? So then he's like, okay, I'm going to name this whole store chain after you. Casey.
What a friend.
But it was KC, but then he called it Casey's.
What a friend.
Wow. It's like Tiger Woods' dad naming him Tiger.
Can you imagine if Manti Te'o had
Lamberti, sorry.
named his chain of convenience stores after his fake dead wife?
Or girlfriend. Fiance?
Whatever.
R.I.P. Lene Kakua.
Linnaeus.
Why do I still know that name? Why?
I have no idea why
It's
you
a
know that name.
fantastic story. That's why.
It's like a
But I'm
decade
imagining, do we
He is
think
the
that,
hottest fake dead girl in the history of fake dead girl.
do we think that Casey's would have been as successful if it was Dominic's?
or
Lamberti's.
That's a great
Even
dumb
though,
debates question.
even though both of those names fit better with pizza than Casey's does, right? Lamberti.
Well, it didn't. It started as a gas station, and then his friend is like, hey.
Yeah, I know,
Yes.
but I'm just saying, the whole idea, you put an Italian name next to pizza, it gives it a little extra pizzazz and authenticity.
Yeah, but Italian pizza's garbage. We like our pizza.
Wow. It's a lot of food takes.
A lot of food takes.
And all of them bad.
Steve
Have
says
you ever
Josh
been to
Cooper
Italy?
Peterson here for not deserving taste buds. Wow.
Have you ever been to Italy and had pizza from Italy? Because I've
No.
heard nothing but bad things.
You've never even been there though, Nick.
I have many friends who have.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I do.
You know what? I hope the next meaningless exhibition you go to, the only thing they serve at the concession stands
Shay,
are manwiches.
Come to my defense. U.S. men's national team. How fun does that sound?
Yeah, I mean, I've gone to Gold Cup games before. It's a blast
Which
to go
meant
watch
something.
them play.
That meant something.
I have been to an NFL preseason game twice. I've been to spring training games multiple times. in my
Every
life.
year.
But at least there, you're going to Arizona in the dead of winter.
I've
You
never
went
been to an
Kansas
NBA
City in May.
preseason game.
You went to what?
I don't think I've ever been to an NBA preseason game.
That sounds like
Um,
the worst thing of all time.
I mean, I go to the spring game every freaking year, so I'm not going to give anybody.
Let's watch the spring game, John.
It's kind of part of our jobs. We almost feel like
I didn't watch it. Sorry.
We will bid you a fond adieu, Mr. Schaefer. Thank you.
All right, I'll leave this time. I'll make it easy.
All right, he's going to make it easy.
See you guys.
Screwball of the day is coming up next. Reminder that the light heavyweight title fight, UFC 275, or is it 275? Teixeira versus
Mark
Prohaska.
Teixeira, Teddy Prohaska. Let's go.
On June 11th at 9 at either ACX Cinema 12 Plus in Elkhorn or Exarban Cinema in Exarban Village. Listen to the Happer Show or the Connor Show all week long for your chance to win, plus a $25 ACX gift card. Buy your tickets online, acxcinemas.com.
Zone, taste of our takes. Sharp and Benning in the morning.
So the rhythm of the game was not very good.
What are you, Janet Jackson or somebody?
It's the rhythm of the night.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to go into full.
No. You should have just stayed with
asked
Janet.
before I said.
Just be a part of the Rhythm Nation.
I thought Rhythm was a dancer.
Oh my gosh.
Now, see ya.
For more, tune in every day to 1620 AM or go to 1620thezone.com. Your Omaha area forecast presented by Funplex Water Park and Rides from the KETV Newswatch 7 Weather Center on 1620 The Zone.
Much quieter weather into tonight. We'll see clear to partly cloudy skies, temperatures dropping back in the mid and upper 50s. Skies will cloud over again on Thursday, highs in the mid and upper 70s with a chance of showers and some thunderstorms afternoon and evening. I'm Chief Meteorologist Bill Ranby from KETV Newswatch 7.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct, brought to you by a great friend of the program, Union Bank and Trust.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More Time-Saving Traffic Center. Heads up, we've got a crash that has the left shoulder blocked on westbound I-80 just before 60th, and it's causing stop-and-go traffic back from 480, so avoid that part of westbound I-80 if you can. Also, a serious accident on West Center Road at 114th, causing significant delays through there. And then stop-and-go traffic on the northbound JFK between Childs and Chandler, and stop-and-go traffic on the southbound JFK between Q Street and Childs. I'm Mike Neville. This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Methodist Health System.
When envisioning what kind of future is possible, the challenges never stop. And neither do we. Methodist, the meaning of care.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Are you tired of being tracked online? There's a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with the push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Did you miss tryouts? Or did your child not make the team they desire? Then it's time to break down those skills that may be holding them back. Going Vertical's Summer Skill Clinic is the place to do just that. 7 3-day sessions will jumpstart your athlete skill and get them on track. Sessions run June 6th through July 28th, and signups are open and filling up. Don't miss this opportunity to take your skills to the next level. Check out goingverticalomaha.com to register today.
Did you know that radon is the #1 cause of lung cancer for non-smokers and that our region has some of the highest levels in the country? Radon Defense Midwest can test and fix your home. Visit radonradio.com for an exclusive offer for 1620 The Zone listeners. That's radonradio.com.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're speaking another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
3 weeks. It's incredible. After 3 weeks, I'm on vacation in Paris, having a conversation in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
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 Babbel. Évidemment.
Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Make the right call, fans. The Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Rooferees. This is Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson.
So he's got the man's junk in his hands.
The 1620, The Zone.
Screwball of the day.
Today we're going back. I mean, there's a lot of different screwballs we could have picked from, but I was reminded
We
again.
decided to stick to sports.
I was reminded again of just how ludicrous it all was when Texas A&M joined the SEC. The folks over at the Pick Six Previews on Twitter posted the image today of how Texas A&M just randomly added 2 more national championships and 2 more conference titles to the display on the wall outside their stadium back in 2012. And the years that they added, and I've been told by many A&M fans, because they all pushed their glasses up and pulled their,
don't forget,
Stetsons down and said, "Hey, y'all, we took that down when we redone our stadium."
And they're wearing their rings.
And they're wearing their worn-out
rings. Hey, look at our
rings.
rings.
I got my ring, and I'm like,
Nick, you know about their dog cemetery?
they got a dog cemetery.
Hold on.
If
what?
John
And it
Oakey
faces
isn't
the
appropriately
scoreboard.
offended by now, then we're not doing a good enough job.
By the way, he showed up on Last Week Tonight on Sunday.
You
I
can't
know.
just say dog cemetery
Congratulations
to, me
to
and
him, by
gloss
the way.
over it.
Congratulations.
We'll talk
John
about it
Oakey.
later, Nick. We got to get to the screwball.
They added 2 national championships, one from 1919 that was determined in a computer poll 50 years later, the Billingsley Report retroactively awarded Texas A&M the 1919 national championship. So the Aggies added that. And then the Sagarin poll started in 1985. They claimed that the 27 Aggies were the best. So the Aggies threw that in there. And now those are dumb, but they also added the 1997 and 2010 banners to their conference championship log. If you remember in 1997,
They
Nebraska
lost.
destroyed Texas A&M in the title game 54-15.
Ha! 15. What a random score.
And in 2010,
They didn't even go to the title game.
they didn't go to the title game. Oklahoma did and beat Nebraska 23-20, but yet they added.
Which one's
those.
funnier? The one where they went to the title game and lost by 1 billion, or the one where they didn't even go to the title game?
It's got to be the latter, because at least
My
they didn't. I mean,
God.
they didn't even go to the title game, but both are equally ridiculous. Now, again, this apparently has been corrected, sort of.
Yeah, but they still did it in the first place.
But they still did it. And I was reminded by the
can't
guys
erase this.
at Pick Six Previews that on their original website, under a previous design, they had actually credited a 10th win in the 2006 season because they won their spring game the following spring. They went 9-4 in 2006, but if you went back to the 2006 season, it shows the result of the maroon and white game that they won 27-13, and they actually added the win to the win total.
Pathetic. Pathetic.
There you
And
go.
Screwball.
Screwball of the day brought to you by Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Find Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey wherever your favorite spirits are sold. That one was for you, John Oakey. Just got to knock you down a peg because I know your head's getting really, really big by showing up on HBO for all of 3 seconds. Parker Gabriel of USA Today is next on 1620 The Zone.
Now live on Twitch, YouTube, and 1620thezone.com.
Hello, I'm Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. If you've been dissatisfied with your current banking situation, maybe it's time to move to a bank that works to deserve your business. We have an engaged staff that offers exceptional personalized service. We also have a great digital banking platform. We have 2 locations at 108th and Dodge or 202nd and Pacific. So if you're looking for a superior banking relationship, give us a call at 402-827-8100. We'll answer on the first ring. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Seller's market? Yeah, that's the understatement of the year. So how does that affect you?
Brent Rasmussen of Mortgage Specialists.
No matter what's going on with the economy, there are several unbendable laws at work. The biggest one is, when supply is low, the demand is high. It's no different in the housing market. Right now, the difference in the number of available homes in the metro area versus the number of waiting buyers is extreme. So if you're thinking that you want to buy, What should you do or even not do? Well, first things first, let's make a plan. Mortgage specialists will be there to give you all the correct information you're going to need. We know ways that'll show the seller that you're a serious buyer. We'll use all of our knowledge and experience to show you other ways to navigate in this market. I'm Brent Rasmussen. Call me at Mortgage Specialists, and we can show you all of the details. Mortgage Specialists, driven, trusted, reliable.
Click mtg-specialists.com. NMLS number 5918, Equal Housing Lender.
When life gives you lemons, it's time for Godfather's Pizza Spring Feast, featuring my new lemon bar streusel. This tangy, lemony dessert is perfect with any medium specialty pizza, piled high with the best toppings and lots of them, plus loads of mozzarella on top. Add any medium one-topping pizza, and you got my new spring feast. But you better hurry. Summer's right around the corner. Godfather's Pizza. Do it.
Don't miss this week's Zone Deal.
This week's half-off deal from Langfeld Overhead Doors gets you a half-horsepower chain LiftMaster door opener, one remote, and installation valued at $450 for only $225. A LiftMaster garage door opener with remote plus installation half off for $225 is this week's half-off deal.
Zone deals go fast. 9 a.m. Friday, 1620thezone.com.
The best part of your summer night is listening to Royals baseball on 1620 The Zone.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct is brought to you by Union Bank and Trust. Now back to the program.
Well, yesterday, the big story in Denver, the Broncos have entered a sale agreement. The Bolin family feud has finally come to an end. The Bolin Family Trust, which had been running the team, and they couldn't figure out which of the kids would actually take it on. So they decided we got to sell this thing. And the family led by the Waltons and the Penners, that's Rob Walton, the heir to Walmart, and his daughter, Carrie Walton Penner, and her husband, Greg Penner, have purchased the Denver Broncos for the cool sum of $4.65 billion. Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, first time on the program since he left us high and dry here in Nebraska, but he's now covering the Denver Broncos. It's Parker Gabriel, ladies and gentlemen.
Parker! What's up, guys? What are your names again?
John.
Damon Benning is my name.
Okay, got it. Yeah, nice to talk to you again.
How are things out in Colorado? You've been busy.
Yeah, doing well. Yeah, I was sitting around last night, 9:30, 10:30 your time, and suddenly, I think the tea leaves had been pointing toward Rob Walton for a while, but yeah, legitimately it was like 9:30 last night. Just team sent out a tweet, purchase agreement. Like, oh, well, all right, there you go. So hop to it, but yeah, to actually answer your question, things are going great. Colorado's good, and it's the off season, but it's never really the off season in the NFL.
Well, as I mentioned, the Waltons, obviously, that's the Walmart family. Melody Hobson, who is part of Ariel Investment, she's part of Starbucks and a director at JP Morgan Chase. I mean, you've got some heavy business money backing behind this. How do those impact this decision and this sale overall, that Denver's going to have connections to all of these, Fortune 500 companies?
Yeah, if you want to feel bad about yourself, Google Melody Hobson and just look at her resume. It's crazy. I was like, okay, I wonder, last night and today I was sort of just trying to figure out a little bit about each of these people and all of that. And it's like, oh, here's an hour interview at the Chicago economics club with Barack Obama. Oh, here she is, chopping it up with Oprah, So obviously there's heavy hitters, and then Rob Walton is worth $60 billion, and so it really that ultimately, it sounds obvious, guys, worth $60 billion. That's obviously why this group ended up winning out, is because it's not a big consortium. I mean, it's basically the family and Melody Hobson is all we know of so far, and it sounds like that may be essentially the extent of the group. In the NFL, you got to have somebody put down 30%, so you're talking about obviously well north of $1 billion, and even among the who's who, there's only so many people on the planet that can do that, and so this, we don't know the exact, obviously, like financing structure of the deal and all that, but Rob Walton is one of the few guys on the planet that can pretty much just cut the check for that kind of money and take over a team.
Parker, how would you describe like how Denver Broncos fans feel today, given, I mean, this has been a very public, I guess, situation, we could call it, with Pat Bowlen passing away, the infighting amongst his family. Is it sigh of relief? Is that the best way to describe how Bronco fans might feel today?
Yeah, I think so. But I do think there's also a sense, I mean, it really is sort of a changing of the guard. Pat Bowlen bought the team in 1984. And obviously the last stretch here, particularly since he died in 2019, but there's obviously been years of lawsuits, not dating back before his death and then since, because there wasn't a clear succession plan in place when he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's in 2014, and then obviously had a long, pretty rugged battle with that disease. And so there's been a lot of infighting. I think there's probably some nostalgia just in the sense of like, they won 3 Super Bowls under the Bowlen ownership. They've won a Super Bowl since the trust has run it. And so it definitely does, it already had a little bit, like I'm an expert, I've been here for a month, but it already had this sense, a little bit of a changing of the guard, new coaching staff, new quarterback, all of that. General manager's only been here for 18 months or so. But now to have new ownership, not officially, it's got to get approved and all that, but there's no indication that it won't. It really is sort of a turn the page type moment in the franchise. And there's a lot of big decisions coming up about the stadium. Obviously, they'll probably have to extend Russell Wilson sometime in the next 6 months. That one's a little easier than figuring out what to do with the stadium probably, but it's a watershed moment for the franchise. And I think there's, generally speaking, you never know how somebody's going to be as an owner. But generally speaking, I do think there's excitement in the fan base about having, a clearer structure, obviously, and a more permanent ownership structure going forward.
Parker.
Gabriel of USA Today joining us, talking about the Broncos sale.
That was on 3 Sports Nebraska team writer Steve Sipple, right?
That was him from Nebraska Coming Soon.
From Nebraska Coming Soon, yes.
Parker.
So how's the ownership group going to be structured? I mean, who's going to be the face of the franchise? Is it Rob Walton?
Yeah, I think it is. He's 77, and he'll be the controlling owner. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Then the question just becomes, what does the day-to-day operation look like? I mean, right now they have a CEO in Joe Ellis, who, worked for Pat Bowlen for a long time and was one of the 3 trustees on the Bowlen Trust. He's made it very clear that he's going to help with the transition, and then he's stepping down, or he doesn't, plan on being part of the management structure, sort of past the transition to new ownership. So, we'll see what they do. The natural inclination is to think that either Greg Penner and Carrie Walton Penner, Rob Walton's daughter and son-in-law, could run the team day to day right away. Maybe Rob Walton is more heavily involved in day-to-day operations for a while, but this is clearly a long-term family play. It's Rob Walton, the ownership group was essentially introduced as those 3, Rob Walton, his daughter, and his son-in-law, and then Melody Hobson. And so whether the sort of second generation runs things right away day to day, they're obviously going to have a lot of input, or whether Rob Walton runs things day to day. I think we'll learn more about that in the coming weeks. And then, I think they're planning on the franchise being in the family for a long time.
Parker, you mentioned a couple minutes ago, you haven't been covering the team that long, but I'm curious as to what your read is with them 3 months out from the season. I was thinking about it this morning, and this is going to be a pretty obvious statement, but the success is certainly going to hinge on Russell Wilson. And I guess if he can be the player that he was, the first half of 2020, 2019 and prior versus the one that he has been the last season and a half, can he still be that player? That's ultimately going to be the question, right?
Yeah, I think so. And then the next part of that is the AFC West is going to be a beast.
Yeah.
I mean, that there's 4 teams in that division that feel like they're playoff teams. Denver joining that mix now that they've got Russell Wilson. But I think the way to think about it is like somebody's going to finish last in the West. I think, most people obviously don't think it's going to be the Chiefs. I think it's got to the point where most people don't think it's going to be the Chargers. And so, you're going to be, fighting tooth and nail, not only for a division title, but to try to be in the wild card picture for the other 3 teams in that division. So, yeah, I mean, I think they're, Denver, they had everyone, I think the general consensus last year was they were a quarterback away, and now they've got a quarterback. And even if he's not peak form Russell Wilson, he should be a big upgrade over, what they've had, like basically since Peyton Manning retired. So they're going to be a good football team. The question is like, is it good enough to win the AFC West, or even win a wild card spot? You're talking about a division where the 4 quarterbacks are Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Russell Wilson, and Derek Carr. And now, like I wrote today, like the pass rush groups in the league, like Denver has Randy Gregory and Bradley Chubb, obviously very talented. They've both missed a lot of time for their own reasons over the past couple of years. The Chargers have Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. The Raiders have Chandler Jones and Max Crosby. I mean, it's a loaded division, and selfishly, it's going to be a great one, a really exciting one, and interesting one to cover.
Well, Parker, your former father, mentor, ex-dad, Sip, because he's still getting used to the new
working
job,
on the internet,
message
boards,
getting introduced to the internet. He was on earlier today instead of his usual Monday slot, and we told him you were going to be on, and here's what he said.
He's a force, that little fellow.
So congratulations.
Aren't you guys about the same size?
Yeah. That photo. Okay. So you guys remember this? I'll prove to you. I still at least pay a little attention to Nebraska. That photo that Malachi Coleman tweeted out where he had his hand like on Mickey Joseph's head. You see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I sent that to Sipple and I said, hey, it's funny that Malachi Coleman posted an old photo of you and Bass.
Oh,
he's a force, that little fellow.
Amazing.
Little
stones and glass houses. And all
Yep. Indeed.
Well, Parker, it's good to catch up with you.
Yeah, man.
Are you covering any hockey tonight?
I'm not covering hockey tonight, but over the next couple weeks, we'll see how much time this ownership thing takes up. But I might, hockey's a bandwagon sport, so I might have to jump on the bandwagon and pitch in a little coverage for the finals here coming up.
Yeah, I was going to say the Avs have some time off,
They
so you
do.
don't have a game tonight. But
they do. They could have if that series goes 7, they're going to be sitting on like 11 or 12 days rest, which will invariably induce a lot of hand wringing.
Oh yeah.
Rest
versus rust. I love those debates
because the other one side's going to say, they're too tired, and the other team is, they're too rusty. Yeah, there's never any in between.
Exactly. Well, then maybe they should have gone for the gentleman's sweep instead. Gave one to not have quite so much. But yeah, nope, they'll be on a lot of rest and might just find my way over there at some point, which would be pretty cool.
Awesome.
Parker Gabriel, USA Today, Denver Broncos. Thank you, Parker.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
You're welcome.
It's great to talk to you anytime.
Later, Parker.
It's good to have a Bronco correspondent Stibbs would have loved to have had this a couple of years ago. but-
Yeah, now we got two of them because one of them dropped off, and then we have Brett Kane, who, by the way, did you see Brett? A father? He has a young child now?
Oh, they allowed him to reproduce.
Yeah,
huh?
I know.
He's
Crazy
he's
times.
A force, that little fellow.
That little fellow.
Coming up next, it's Wednesday. It's a happy hour. It must be time for Dumb Debates on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More Time-Saving Traffic Center. Heads up, we've got a crash that has the left shoulder blocked on westbound I-80 just before 60th, and it's causing stop-and-go traffic back from 480, so avoid that part of westbound I-80 if you can. Also, a serious accident on West Center Road at 114th, causing significant delays through there. And then stop-and-go traffic on the northbound JFK between Childs and Chandler, and stop-and-go traffic on the southbound JFK between Q Street and Childs. I'm Mike Neville.
This time-saving traffic is brought to you by the Nebraska Lottery.
It's the Nebraska Lottery's Wheel of Fortune Second Chance promotion. Through August 2nd, enter non-winning $5 Wheel of Fortune scratch tickets for a chance to be one of 6 winners of 3 fabulous trips. Top prize odds, 1 in 128,000.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people, people who answer the phone and your chats, dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people, small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
We're in the most active season of the year right now. And if you have joint pain, hip pain, knee pain, maybe back pain, shoulder pain, I've got fantastic news for you. QC Kinetics is helping people here get the fun back with advanced regenerative treatments from local medical professionals. Regenerative medicine is the hottest thing going. It's basically taking growth factors with healing properties from your own body, highly concentrated, then putting them back into your aching joints. This exciting in-office non-surgical treatment can repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints, giving you real lasting relief from pain. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in these cutting-edge, all-natural options, and the patient satisfaction reports are incredible. They have over 100 clinics nationwide, including right here. You can get real relief from pain with no surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Stop putting it off. Call QC Kinetics now to learn more about regenerative medicine and get a totally free in-office consultation. Call 402-205-4960. That's 402-205-4960.
Hey, Ryan, what do you get me for Father's Day?
Well, Dad, with the family owns Osted's Golf, it's easy to find the right gift. Hannah, what are you getting your dad?
I'm working on a coupon book for free hugs and kisses. Wouldn't that be wonderful, Dad?
Hannah, your papa can help you out. Rangefinder's up to $50 off. Golf balls on sale. Lots of great golf shirts your dad will love.
Since my allowance is 50 cents a week, I think I'll stick with the coupon.
Let Dad know you care. A gift from Osted's never disappoints.
In the wee hours of the night, when everyone else is fast asleep, you're the one on third shift, burning the midnight oil. When a part fails and everything comes to a grinding halt, regardless of what the clock on the wall says, you leap into action. Grainger is with you and all the ones who get it done. With 24/7 customer support by phone or click to chat. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs.
It'd be nice to have a boat.
Throw.
It would be nice to have a boat.
Throw.
It would be nice to have a boat.
Throw.
It would be nice to have a boat.
Throw.
It would be nice to have a boat.
Throw.
It would be nice to have a boat.
Throw.
It would be nice to have a boat.
Throw.
It would be nice to have a boat.
Throw.
From your mom.
Listen, listen, not do we did anyway. Dumb debating.
John's computer sucks. Macs are the only way. Dumb debating.
Fullbacks are running backs, hamburger steaks.
Josh is too dumb to eat a cupcake.
Mainly debate.
Does John like Nebraska or Creighton?
Just three radio hosts on air, dumb debating. Die for the pylon or give up on the plate, dumb debating.
Millennials are great and old should go away. Dumb debating.
Rarely do we find any common ground.
Josh wants his food to be the best around.
Even if it gives him fatal flatulation.
Just three radio hosts on air, dumb debating. When a tree falls down and nobody's around, you can bet your ass it won't make a sound. Water ain't wet, you know nothing about hydration. Just three radio hosts on air, dumb debating. Just three radio hosts on air, dumb debating.
It's Dumb Debates. Every week we bring you the dumbest of debates. And today we bring you today's Dumb Debates.
So Cars.
Jack Del Rio free.
Ha! Oh, nice.
Yeah. All you have to do is Google Jack Del Rio, the coach. I had forgotten he was the coach of the Washington Commanders.
He's not the head coach, right?
Or he is a coach.
He's the defensive coordinator.
He's a coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, not the coach.
Their head coach is what's his name?
God, I forgot.
Yeah, from Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I'm not in football mode right now. NFL mode. Nick, who's head coach of the
Riverboat Ron?
Yeah, Ron Rivera. Thanks.
Sorry,
Ron
Coach
Rivera.
Rivera. Sorry, Coach Rivera.
Hey,
You're
you
actually a
nailed
reputable guy, even though the guy who signs your paychecks is a real jerk. But yeah, this is Jack Del Rio free. This is where you get to take over the show. You send us your dumb debates. We debate them dumbly. Now, today, by the way, JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed at USC1620. You can email Equitable Bank inbox, John1620thezone.com, Josh1620thezone.com.
Sorry if you've been texting. I didn't have the text line open today. I apologize.
Wow,
all these texts.
Not a good millennial you are.
I'm sorry, guys. He is such an
Josh-
a-hole. I don't know what that's about. Oh, about Phil Mickelson. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, Trent.
We're just going to speed run these texts.
Travis says, John's pronouncing it Cutter is very cringy. I understand that it's closer to how it's pronounced locally, but oof. That's how it's pronounced.
That's how it's pronounced.
Cutter, right?
Yeah, it's Cutter. You're saying it correctly.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to say? What is he saying I'm supposed to
I
say?
think
Probably Qatar.
Qatar or Qatar.
Or gutter.
I've never heard it. People say Qatar.
Maybe not.
I used to think it was.
weird.
I used to
Sorry,
think
Mike and Travis and Trent and the guy
It's
in the
Cutter.
402.
Yeah,
it's Cutter.
Yeah, it's Cutter.
That is how it's
You're wrong.
pronounced. Yeah.
We're right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
If I was wrong, I would have apologized, but anyway.
Yeah.
I'm going to start today.
Oh, you
'Cause
got one.
I was driving in,
Okay.
and on the radio, they were playing the Beatles.
Oh, classic.
AM radio?
Something in the way she moves me, which is not like one of their biggest songs.
Oh, it should be, though. That's my favorite George
but
Harrison song.
But it's a really good song.
Great song.
And it got me thinking. I mean, the Beatles are easily the number one when you talk about the most familiar catalog that exists in music. And I'm talking about both popularity and breadth, right?
Yep.
I mean,
and importance.
Probably the most ubiquitous pop music there exists on the planet.
I would agree.
I also agree.
Look at us.
What's
the music boy.
What's number 2?
The Stones.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I think it's the Stones.
Michael Jackson was who I thought of second.
I was thinking Michael Jackson. I don't think it's the Stones because, again, I think Michael Jackson's got more songs.
Fair.
Well, the Stones actually might have more songs because
Well,
they're
more
still
songs,
making
but I'm
music.
saying more songs that like resonate. Like the minute you hear it, you're like Michael Jackson, Beatles, Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, the Stones have a distinct sound where if one of their deeper cuts plays, you could recognize who it is. But I'm talking about familiar songs that you know words to and, can hum along and you know the tune. You've heard them a million times.
I mean, Elvis would definitely be in the conversation.
Dan, I was wondering about Elvis, but I almost wonder if Elvis is too old now for anyone under 25 to...
We also hate Elvis now.
We do?
We cancel Elvis.
What happened with Elvis?
What did you do to Elvis?
Well, because most
They're
people...
just coming out with a movie about it.
I'm excited to watch the movie.
Most people realize that most of his music was
he stole it
stolen
from
and
black
repurposed
artists.
from
Yeah.
other black artists. And
Do you
they should have
realize
been
that
better.
most of the music made today is stolen and repurposed? They just steal the beat and all the other. Come on.
It's a bad take.
It's not
Now,
a bad take.
I never
it's
got
true.
into Elvis, but every time I hear an Elvis song, I'm like, that's a good song. I just never did the whole thing. Like in college, speaking of stealing, I would download music illegally and I just ripped through the whole discography, and that's how I learned which bands I liked and didn't like. I never did that with Elvis. I did it with a lot of other bands.
I found that I like covers of Elvis songs better just because I like the songs themselves. I just don't like the way he sings them.
Now, I almost wonder, does Michael Jackson have enough in his catalog? I mean, the Beatles are so easily number one.
I think Michael Jackson.
See, I think where Michael Jackson becomes number two is his hits are just like, I mean, they're monsters.
Right, but I'm talking about. I'm also talking about depth. Like I
guess I don't.
What would you say? Could we estimate that if you blanketed, if you like brought in 1,000 people, and all they had to do was, hey, raise your hand if you recognize this song. Not who it's about, but just, do you recognize this song? There's at least 50 Beatles songs.
Yeah.
That would get like 80% saturation.
Yeah, I guess if we're doing it like that.
See, and that's why I don't think
probably
the Stones
not. I
would
don't
be
think the
number two.
Stones either.
Yeah.
I never got in the Stones. I'm not
I
a Stones.
love
fan.
the Stones.
A couple of their songs are okay. It's just tough.
I mean, there's nobody that's made music in the last 20 years. They're not old enough.
No, they're not old enough. Jeremy says Prince. See, and I never really got into Prince either, so I don't know.
Prince has a lot of good songs, but not as many as the Beatles.
Well, okay. First of all, no one's going to touch the Beatles. We're just talking about who's second.
I don't think like Zeppelin.
I don't think.
You don't
Prince,
think Zeppelin's up there? I feel like
no,
Zeppelin...
they are. I don't think they're number two.
Oh,
though.
okay.
Yeah.
I think you could make an argument for Zeppelin for sure.
I mean, they're definitely overplayed.
I don't think
on
it's
one
right.
particular.
John,
station
you
in
have
time.
to be objective about music now.
I don't think it's.
Well, I am being objective, but again, I don't know if there's the depth.
I don't think it's
like the
Beach
number
I think
of
Zeppelin has
songs.
the. I think Zeppelin has the depth.
Not as much as Michael Jackson.
To look at biggest music artists ever, just so I can figure out.
When we say, are we just including Michael Jackson, or are we also including like Jackson 5 and
see that's where
all the other collaborations?
I think you
and
have
all of
to
that?
because Michael was. I mean, he was such a. I mean, he was like the. He was the centerpiece.
All right,
of
so
the band.
this is the most albums sold. This is just the list of artists and or bands. Beatles number 1, Elvis 2, Jackson 3, then Elton John, Madonna, Zeppelin, Rihanna.
Elton
Pink
John.
Floyd.
John's a
Elton
great
John.
one, for sure.
Now that's a good one.
Yeah,
For
that's a good
sure.
one.
Because Elton John had a lot of hits.
Madonna's also a really good one.
Beyond that, by the
Madonna
way,
actually might be sneaky good.
we get into Eminem, Mariah Carey, Taylor Swift, Queen, Whitney Houston, Eagles.
See, again, I
Celine
don't
Dion,
think it's
AC/DC, Rolling
anybody. I don't
Stones.
think Taylor Swift it does not have.
What about you two?
Not today.
Taylor Swift.
You got to give it more time.
Even, I think Taylor Swift is on a trajectory. I think she is 100% on her trajectory.
A trajectory to what?
Top 3. Legitimately top 3.
Maybe.
That's not just me being a Taylor stan.
Maybe.
I think top 3
A
potential.
Taylor. What's a
Taylor stan. What? Taylor Swift
Taylor
Twitter
stan,
is weird, John. You don't want to go to
Is
Taylor
that
Swift
one
Twitter.
of the old Russian republics? Taylor stan.
It means fan, John. It means fan.
Why don't you
Well,
just say
it's
fan?
because it's more than a fan.
Because it's a super
It's a
fan.
step. It's a step.
It's a reference to
over
an Eminem song.
Called
Sometimes
Stan.
Nick forgets he's speaking to a 50-something-year-old man. Got to speak old sometimes, Nick.
Or just speak English. Stan. I mean, Taylor.
This is what I bring to the show.
Stan.
I think Michael Jackson. Final answer.
All right, I'm going to agree.
I'm going to say Michael
I'm
Jackson.
going to agree.
How about Zeppelin being in the top 10? By the way, you have to scroll a
It's
long time to
probably-
get to the Stones.
I feel like Zeppelin should be higher up.
Maybe.
In the
See, I
list.
think the Stones have more depth than Zeppelin.
See, now are we letting
Zeppelin didn't do a disco song.
Are we letting our biases get in here?
No,
Because
I'm not trying to let bias in
No,
here.
no, no, I
Everyone
know.
knows what I think about Zeppelin, but Zeppelin didn't cross over as much into top 40.
The Stones have a more diverse
Yes.
grouping of music.
Yeah, probably. But I would say that Zeppelin has the more popular song or songs.
I think
What's the most famous Rolling Stones song? What's the most famous Zeppelin song? I bet Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven, probably, and that's probably.
Well, you can't
high.
just name one most famous Stone song. I'm sure.
Yeah,
Zeppelin
it's
fans
about-
do,
but it's about
proves
depth.
that
But
proves
it's
the
about
point.
depth.
No, I know. I was just saying who has the most famous top end song. Oh, here's a dumb debates question.
I don't know.
What's the most famous song ever? Beyond like Happy Birthday. You know?
Yeah, I was going to say
What's
Happy
the most
Birthday.
famous pop
the
song?
alphabet song.
Yeah, see?
Most famous pop.
Scott threw out the Eagles, by the way. No way.
The Eagles.
Eagles suck.
Oh, now
They don't suck.
I hate the Eagles.
Josh, take it easy.
I
Thank you.
got that one.
I don't like the Eagles. Don't like the football team either.
The Eagles is kind of in that same boat with Elton John. That's a pretty good one.
Are they that famous?
I'd rate the Eagles.
But here's the thing. The problem is the Eagles, and I don't know if if you wanted to be real technical, it's because we did allow Michael Jackson to bleed over into the Jackson 5 and his. If you separate it out and then through Glenn Fry.
If we do that, we have to do it with the Beatles too and all of their solo
Yeah,
projects.
that's true. That's probably not fair.
But I think the Eagles members did better individually than they did as the Eagles. Like the Eagles were still good, but I think they.
I don't think again. It's about depth, and the Eagles weren't together long enough. Like
That's
the Stones,
most impressive part about the Beatles is first album came out in 62. Their last album came out in 70. It's nuts.
Yes.
And go listen to their first Ghost to Please.
That's
Please
what I'm
Me,
saying.
and then go listen to Let It Be.
There's
You're
nobody.
like, this is the same band. It's bonkers.
Yeah,
how much they
that's why I
did.
said who's second, because there's no debating. Who's
They're
got the
GOAT.
most depth and,
God, I love
and
the
breadth.
Beatles. Famous song. What's the most famous song of all time?
Back in Black.
Ew.
You
said that on purpose. That's disgusting.
I mean, he might not be wrong though.
It's a great damn song. Great damn band.
Because you also got to think about like where songs are.
It has to be an
played.
Elvis song. I honestly
You
think
know
it has
what?
to be an
Now
Elvis
this is
song.
going to trigger y'all. AC/DC might have a role in this conversation. I'm not saying they're number 2.
John, there's
but
no
they might
depth
have
there.
a role.
If you want to talk
No
about
depth, there's a
no
ton
depth.
of depth there.
Sometimes they're back and sometimes they're back in black.
There's a lot of depth there.
Most famous song. We got to get back to
More
this.
than Zeppelin.
Most famous song.
Yes. I don't know.
That's
That's
this is where
tough.
it might be a Michael Jackson song.
I think it's an Elvis song.
Riley says hard to find a more famous song than Queen's "We Will Rock You."
That's true.
See, that's why you got to think about sports.
Man, I don't. Well, if that's the case, it's that.
Guys. Gangnam Style.
See, John doesn't know that song though.
What are you talking about?
See,
the song. Was it the first video to get 1 billion views on YouTube?
I've heard it. I'm sure. What is it?
Gangnam Style.
Gangnam Style. Whoop,
It
whoop,
came
whoop.
out in 2012.
It's a
It was a
decade old.
Korean artist.
That is not the most popular song of all time.
See, Nick, you got to think all time, not just in the YouTube
No,
era.
that's what I'm.
All
that's-
time.
It got the most views and
I
the
know.
most listens out of it. Was
in the last
weird.
decade, but we got to go back to the beginning of time. Jim says, "I want to hold your hand." I don't even think that's the most famous Beatles song.
I don't either.
I think "Hey Jude" would be the most famous Beatles song.
That I think
Though it
that
might be one of the
that
early
might
ones,
be
too.
the most impossible question to answer.
Mustache
Because
Adam
there's
says,
way too many songs.
Says Thriller. See, I'm thinking of Michael Jackson's song for that.
Do you want me to get the charts involved?
What
what were the charts? Yeah,
Billboard.
What are the charts?
No, I know.
say?
Like, what are you? What are you
Top 10 songs of all time.
Okay.
Like you're saying the
Okay,
ones
is
that
this
have
according
charted
to-
the longest?
1958 to 2021.
So is
Is
the
this
ones that have charted the longest?
Is this a Billboard?
Yeah, Billboard.
But I'm wondering, what is he Googling?
Number 1 for how many weeks?
Okay, number 1. So what's the
All
number
right.
1 for how many weeks?
Blinding Lights by The Weeknd. Number 1
That's
for
not
4
the most
weeks.
famous
Okay,
song.
see that.
And then number 2 is The Twist by Chubby Checker.
Great song.
And then Smooth with Santana featuring Rob Thomas.
See, here's the problem. And I'm not saying this to knock today's music, but there's a lot less.
Star-Spangled Banner from Riley.
There's a lot less pop music being produced. Thus, songs stay at the top of the charts longer because there's not as much movement. Because the charts are based on plays and sales and all this other
So
stuff.
you said it was at number 1 for 4 weeks. That's the longest a song has ever been number 1. That seems way wrong.
Yeah, it does.
It didn't seem right.
That songs have lasted number 1 for longer than a month.
All right, well, gosh,
I think it's Thriller.
I don't think
Brett says Bohemian Rhapsody. See, I don't even think that's Queen's most popular or most known.
Well, think
song.
about songs.
I
that,
think it's their best
Think
song.
about songs that are in a lot of movie.
Old Town Road by Lil Nas X. That was number 1 for 19 weeks. There we go.
And that's the record. See,
that's currently the record.
But again, there's not enough new music being pumped out to move songs around. So songs stick around longer at the top.
I think that you can't base music releases now off of what they used to be, because there's a constant stream of music coming out. It's just not all of it ends up on the radio because not everybody consumes it like that.
It is still AM radio.
And the thing is,
Johnny Be Good,
pop music today,
Respect by Aretha
pop
Franklin.
music today isn't as popular as it used to be because we fractured the audience is even more fractured than before, right?
Brad, the Beatles would have had songs that charted longer, but they kept beating their own songs with newer songs.
Bingo.
Yeah. Okay. We moving on now?
Yeah, man, I didn't expect that one to go as long, but it did.
Where was it? There was an email that we got right after Schaefer. Okay, here it is from Jerry. He says, I heard you say something to the effect of, do people who say Huskers 247 not understand the meaning of 24/7, which leads to my dumb debate. I frequently hear people say 24/7, 365, as in 24 hours per day, 7 days per week, 365 days per year. In that, the first lines of this saying have established the relationship of hours to days and then days to weeks. If you are going to jump to years, the proper saying should be 24/7, 52, not 24/7, 365. John, thoughts?
Originally, I was going to say this is stupid, you're overthinking, but he's actually right.
He's actually right.
Because we are skipping weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But
unless we're British.
But thanks to the phrase 24/7, 365, we don't think about counting weeks all the time. We think about counting hours, days, and years, but we don't think about counting weeks.
That's true. Unless someone's pregnant.
True.
Or somebody had a kid and they're like, oh, he's
And it doesn't. And now it doesn't roll off the tongue.
Old.
24/7, 52.
It doesn't. 365 sounds way better. You need the extra syllable.
It does sound cooler.
Now, if you went 24/7, 52, 365, that's just too many. It sounds like a combination.
The numbers.
on an old
What do they
locker.
mean? Katie, your friend, your colleague of the internet, John's music takes are absolute garbage. He just pines for the good old days and complains like an old.
Explain. What did I say that was so
I don't know.
offensive to KD, who obviously is still mad because, let's face it, the Rams are the best team in the NFL. Suck at 49ers.
I don't know which one of your takes triggered him.
I don't know.
If it was the new music, I'm being totally serious. New music, there's not as much being churned out. And so you don't see songs get replaced in the top 40. And people don't even really pay attention to the top songs anymore because the
Billboard way. Yeah.
Right.
The algorithm is so different.
Yeah, exactly.
Algorithm boy.
And people now.
I'm a chart nerd, so I pay attention. But that's just me.
Curtis says Amazing Grace, one of the most popular songs of all time.
Okay.
We could make an argument for folk songs.
Amazing Grace. That might be it right there.
That's fair.
See, that's why you almost got to start thinking about church. You know, songs that can kind of cross over into that type of genre.
Or because we have a lot of FM stations who won't surrender to sports and instead surrender every November, December, and January to Christmas music. Maybe it's Silent Night.
Oh, we didn't think about Christmas songs.
Ew.
Well, FM stations do surrender their playlist to Christmas music every year for 3 months.
They should surrender themselves to us.
Or more.
Imagine,
very
John, you're in
cool
your
music.
car. You're like, I want to listen to music. And you're like, would I want to control the great songs that I know I love? Nah, I'll let some pipsqueak do it for me.
Here's what I'll do.
You'll let some pipsqueak make you a banger playlist. You're
Here's
welcome.
my compromise. To get us on 101.9
We'll play
The
Christmas
Zone
music?
and 98.5 The Zone.
Oh, and we
on.
get the studio.
And
You
we get the
can't just
studio.
annex two different studios.
Just did, Nick.
In exchange for that, I will promise for those people who will be pining for their Christmas music and can't just pollute their own ears with it, they have to pollute everyone else's ears with it. I promise you.
You'll link them to a Christmas playlist on YouTube.
No, once per day on the program during those months, I will sing a verse of a Christmas song.
On the nines. That's what they say on
Yeah.
FM stations, right?
Yeah.
On
Nobody
the
says
nines.
that.
I think they say it, Nick.
Nobody says
Weather
that.
coming up on the nines.
That's not a
John's
thing.
Christmas Carol on the nines.
On the nines.
You guys are embarrassing.
Silent night, holy night.
You guys doing
I was
this is the reason
good, I
you're
was
not on
mad.
FM.
Can we do
Rock a virgin
Well, also
mother
because
child.
This is the reason you're not on FM.
that's not the reason, Nick.
It's the reason. It's
I
a
like
reason.
talking for more than 20 seconds. That's why I'm not
Well,
on
it takes
the
skill to get everything across in 20 seconds.
But I
Hey,
like,
everybody, this is Larry from Madonna. Hey, we just asked questions on the AM station because they knew all the cool stuff. Hey, we're behind the Beatles. What's the best two songs of all time?
can we actually do the Christmas carols on the nines during Christmas season this year? I'm gonna put it in my calendar.
Put it on the list.
I want to do that. That
You
sounds
put it on
hilarious.
your list.
All right,
I will get the eggs.
Get the eggs. Let's say, here's a good one because this allows us to talk about how awesome we are. Mustache Adam says, if you were to introduce the show to someone who has never heard it before, what segment, game, or bit would you choose and why?
Oh.
Now, I'll say this. Dear, dear, dear friend of the program, Jed. He's been listening
Forever.
since I believe the show started.
He was listening when Bob Bruce was still in his mother's womb.
When Bob was yelling at Sean Callahan. Hey. Jed, the highest compliment we have ever received from Jed was when he said that Harambe Karaoke was the funniest thing he's ever heard on the show. I think Harambe Karaoke is our peak.
Well, it's
been
our peak.
all downhill from here.
Right.
Wow, thanks.
But go back to the spirit of the question again. If you were to introduce the
segment,
show to
game,
someone
or
who's
bit?
never heard it before,
I think that best represents how funny we are, how dumb we
well,
are.
we used to be that funny, but then Stibbs left.
Wow. Nick's going to go home and write in his journal tonight. They made fun of FM
Did you hear that?
again. They called.
Did you hear that?
I did not. What did you say?
No, you don't have to say.
No,
it
so-
again. You can go back and listen to it.
I said we used to be funny, and then Stibbs left.
And now you're hilarious. Ha!
Nice retort.
Good job.
Well
Nick.
done. Well done. I mean,
Because we don't do the Petey Shine stuff anymore because those were always classics.
Mm.
So I wouldn't want to do that because then they'd be like, oh, cool. I would love to hear Kevin and Michael. And we'd be
Ooh.
like, sorry, that's not us. My dad says One Beer Friday. It does represent a lot of what we are and what we stand for.
yeah, that's almost too tough to answer. At least for me in my little brain.
Mhm.
Man, that's a great
We
question.
didn't
though.
say anything about Pink Floyd during the music thing, by the way. And I feel dumb because
We didn't, but again, I don't know if there's enough depth with Pink
yeah,
Floyd.
no, I know it's about depth, but they should get an honorable mention.
I mean, definitely behind AC/DC. Yeah.
One of my hot takes
Gross.
is I don't think Pink Floyd's that good.
Well, I don't think you're that good, Josh.
I like Wish You Were Here. I like
That's an
that album
amazing
way better than Dark Side of the Moon.
The Wall, I think, is Pink Floyd's best album. Dark Side is good. I like Dark Side.
Every time I listen to Dark Side, I want to love it, and I'm just like,
Have you
Every
ever
time.
done that thing where you watch
When's
it
the
while
last
watching
time you
Wizard of
listened to
Oz?
that? Was that before or after you were listening to Stuart Mandel at triple speed?
well before. I probably listened to that album front to back like 10
I'm kind of surprised you
10
didn't
times.
offer up Stuart Mandel as being, second
hell
most
no, man.
recognized.
Bill Simmons.
What
He's
you got to
the
do?
most recognized.
You got to Dark Side of Oz it. So when you
you
I don't
sync it
wanna
up.
watch
That movie.
you sync it up to Wizard of Oz, and it's perfect.
Oh, that was one we didn't mention. Huey.
That's the power of love.
That's the power of love.
Nick,
baby.
what do you think's the best? What best represents Unsportsmanlike Conduct? If we had to introduce someone with a segment, game, or bit, what would you show them?
I think
Chatteller Sipple's pretty funny.
I think something dumb debates related because it's a good breadth of you guys showing off your sports knowledge with all the sports questions and what you know, and then the other goofy stuff. I think
You know what?
I think dumb debates is a perfect representation. of the
That's
show.
true, especially when
that's
we
a
have a
good
nice
answer.
cross section of the sports and the non-sports.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
The dumb debates where we talked about laundry in the early days of the pandemic was really funny. At what point does it go from clothes to laundry and then back to clothes again? And we decided it's when it goes into the drawer.
That
There are
makes
clothes,
sense.
but if it's basket or in the washer and dryer, it's laundry.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, if I had to pick a specific moment,
And Zachary says, isn't it dumb debates? Captures the show as a whole.
I would agree. If I had to pick a specific moment, the day that Josh said that running backs and fullbacks weren't the same thing,
That
and
was very
Stibbs
funny.
and I just ravaged him. That would
was
be a
dumb
good-
debates before
because
dumb
that
debates.
that was Husker related, that was football related, and
Uh-huh.
that was
That was a good one.
that was pretty good.
I'm trying to think of if there's any other segments or something over the years. That was
The
a really-
Cars segment from the crossover.
That was
yesterday,
very
that was
good. That's a
very
great
top
representation
tier,
of us.
100%.
Oh, well, yeah, Adam, where he says that Cars conversation was the funniest thing I've heard on the show since Honk for the Huskers.
Oh, wow.
Honk
that's a
for the
compliment.
Huskers was very, very funny. Johnny Pick says Sipple bingo. Yeah, now that I always do
I
some
remember
Sipple
Sipple
games when you're
bingo.
gone.
Yeah,
But yeah, so I came up with a bingo card
I produced one of those shows.
of a lot of the Sippleisms, and that was very fun.
Did
I am
you-
pretty
did you
proud of
actually
Chatteller
fill it?
Sipple. Yes, because I actually went to a website. I generated a bunch of different ones, and so people were able to participate with us. That was a good time.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. There's dumb debates. There's
Mhm.
there's the segment that epitomizes the program right there.
Mm-hmm. Dumb debates.
Dumb debates. Not really anything sports related though. But we did say it was Jack Del Rio free. So
That's true. Except when we try to remember who's the head coach of Washington.
How about those 90s Huskers? Am I right, fellas?
How about those 90s Huskers?
Jack Del Rio, not a member of the 90s Huskers.
That's true.
Probably a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Jordan says, greatest band ever has to be Dolph Gets Woke.
Dolph Gets Woke.
Jordan, he also says he thinks Bohemian Rhapsody is more popular than We Will Rock You.
Bohemian Rhapsody didn't really pick back up in popularity until after Wayne's World.
I was
Because
gonna
it didn't
say.
go anywhere when it first came out. Then
Yes.
Wayne's World is the reason.
We Will Rock You. I mean, everyone uses it in sports videos and championship celebrations.
Also,
and
Seven Nation
parades.
Army. That you could also make an argument for Seven Nation
Well,
Army.
what about
I know.
YMCA?
Yeah. Young men.
Just saying, people know the song.
I know we need to go to break.
I can't believe Nick canceled Elvis.
Elvis is dumb.
Did you cancel Elvis?
Remember, he canceled Elvis.
What?
Were you not listening to him?
I think his music
Yeah.
is well written, and I like a lot of the music, but I don't like the fact that it was stolen from other people.
Most people
and then they
today
didn't
don't write
benefit.
their own music.
A lot of people today write their own music.
Yeah, it's actually really
Taylor
strange.
Swift writes all of her own music. Fun fact.
I'm not talking about the emo bands you listen to.
Taylor Swift is an emo.
No one's that. No,
The
I'm
hell
not
was
talking about.
that?
I'm talking about the other people beyond Taylor Swift. I give Taylor Swift credit because she does do right. Her own
Steve
music.
says, my
I
vote
always
for your-
respect artists that do that.
For your two best segments: one, Sip outing Josh's divorce on the
Oh
air.
God, yes.
Two, John hitting Josh in the junk with an egg. That sucked. The divorce was pretty funny.
That was
Did
really
I?
funny.
I thought a listener.
You didn't. Yeah, you didn't hit me with
Yeah,
the
a
junk.
listener
A listener hit me. In the
Yeah, I
junk.
didn't. Hit, I don't think I didn't throw an egg at you, did I?
No, I don't think so.
No.
Ray says got to be Chattel or Sipple.
One last quick tangential dumb debate is bad or not bad. Thriller. Do you think that song would have been as popular if it wasn't for that video?
See, I only knew the song first and then the video, but John can speak to this better than I can.
See, that's the thing. Videos. It was rare for a song to get hot without a video. And there's a point to be made that no, it wouldn't be as big. And, it also, I'm trying to remember the whole timeline of when it was released, but it was kind of close to Halloween. And so it all just fit perfectly. And yeah, that album was huge. Very huge. All right, this week's Zone Deal. If you need a garage door opener, and I know this is a very specific ask, but as someone who has had to have their garage door fixed recently, if you need a garage door opener, the Zone Deal this week is for a 1/2 horsepower chain liftmaster door, one remote and installation, valued at $450 for only $225. That's
Whoa.
half off. They go on sale this Friday at 1620thezone.com.
Your Omaha area forecast presented by Funplex Water Park and Rides from the KETV Newswatch 7 Weather Center on 1620 The Zone.
Much quieter weather into tonight. We'll see clear to partly cloudy skies, temperatures dropping back in the mid and upper 50s. Skies will cloud over again on Thursday, highs in the mid and upper 70s with a chance of showers and some thunderstorms afternoon and evening. I'm Chief Meteorologist Bill Ranby from KETV Newswatch 7.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct, brought to you by a great friend of the program, Union Bank and Trust.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More Time-Saving Traffic Center, heads up, a large sinkhole has caved in on Farnham Street at 36th. The road is closed, so avoid 36th and Farnham. We've got a crash on westbound I-80 at 96th, causing significant delays. A wreck with injuries on Cumming Street at 25th. And then stop-and-go traffic on the northbound JFK from Childs to Chandler, and stop-and-go traffic on the southbound JFK from Q Street to Childs. I'm Mike Neville. This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Lanahaw Nurseries.
Think spring? Think Lanahaw Garden Center. We offer the most complete selection of landscape supplies and plant material for all of your projects. Lanahaw is your one-stop shop for all of your outdoor needs. Rooted in quality, unmatched value. Lanahaw Nurseries, 192nd and Center.
At Woodhouse, we make car buying simple.
From test drive to purchase, we're here to help guide you to your next vehicle with no pressure sales, transparent pricing, and a streamlined purchase process to save you time. Finding the place to shop for your next vehicle just got easier. Whether you're looking for a car, truck, or SUV, we will get you on the road faster with a vehicle that exceeds your expectations. Find new roads and explore all our inventory arriving daily at WoodhouseGM.com and at our dealership in Missouri Valley, Iowa.
Okay, team, it's summer. Your training all comes down to this. Checklist. Emma, sunscreen? Check. Alex, shades? Yep, set. Baby Zoe, diaper bag? We're just gonna call that a yes. Are you ready for Funplex? Check. Well, out to the minivan. But we can't drive. Let's find Mom. And then go to the minivan. Yay!
It's all for fun and fun for all at Funplex, 70th and Q, dude. Get your tickets now at fun-plex.com.
When it comes to cement fiber siding, you want durability, hail and chip resistance, and beauty. You want James Hardie cement fiber siding. Carp's Complete Home Exteriors is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. Call Carp's today or visit carpsomaha.com.
That big college baseball tournament downtown is right around the corner, and my friends at Tickets for Less have you covered if you're looking for tickets. You know how hard they are to find. Tickets for Less, known for a generation as Ticket Express, they have the best selection of tickets to that big baseball tournament downtown, and they never charge you per ticket fees. You can also buy with confidence knowing you're fully covered by the Tickets for Less 100% fansurance guarantee. Once your order is locked in, it's guaranteed. Order online at ticketsforless.com or call today, 402-398-1999. Tell them Gary sent you.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Are you tired of being tracked online? There's a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with the push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
It's Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
I hated that whole segment as much as you did.
On 1620, The Zone.
Can you feel the excitement? The long, arduous summer is almost done. The temperatures, once hot and humid, finally cooling down. Fall is here. Why, you ask? Why do seasons change? Why does the sun set earlier after June 21st? Well, that's how the world works, you say. We're in the Milky Way, after all. It's a bunch of sciencey stuff, obviously. But you're wrong. Those things don't happen because of science. They happen because we're 100 days from college football. The countdown is on. Will the SEC get two teams into the playoffs again? What does Jim Harbaugh do for an encore? And will Nebraska go without any, thus meeting the all-important mystery metrics, at least according to our sources? It's time. It's here. It's 100 days until college football.
Not the most famous song of all time, but a good one.
I do like this
Oh,
song.
that's right. This is the 180 song you somehow dislike.
Which is weird because it's the one 80s rock song I do like.
There's a lot of 80s songs I didn't like.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all the good ones.
No, they're not. Just stop. Just stop.
I bet you don't even like Falco.
Not really.
That's what I thought.
It's a dumb song. Oh, rock me on the days.
Don't forget about Commissar
By the way,
John.
Hey, 100 days, guys.
That was even worse. By the way, I was in the play Amadeus for drama class.
I've only seen that movie like once.
I like that movie.
It's in it like 3.5 hours.
We watched
It's a pretty long one.
We watched it in college. Nice.
It's a pretty long one.
I watched it freshman year of high school.
I was just an extra though.
Yeah.
I didn't get
You were a tree.
No, I don't remember what I was. Anyway.
Were you his wig?
No, I wasn't his wig.
161 minutes. Not even 3 hours. That's not too bad. 100 days.
100 days to college football. And Adrian Martinez is the gift that keeps on giving.
Remember at the end of last season when every show and podcast and columnist around here was like, you think Adrian will be beloved? Just kind of throwing out a topic to fill some time. And everyone's like, yeah, of course we'll all root for him, except for like a couple of haters here and there.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's going to be the case anymore.
Really? Why? What did he do? I mean, first of all, Sip kind of defended him.
He did.
I quoted the thing he said about, hey, this is the most talent I've been around. Sip said, what have I been saying? What have I been saying for the last 4 years?
That's true.
Didn't have no talent around. I mean,
so
spot the lie.
Here's the story from 24/7 Sports, by the way. Still your 24/7.
Not 247?
Not 247.
I mean, it is Kansas State, so it could
Maybe
be
it could
247.
Kansas State football QB Adrian Martinez reveals motivation for transferring from Nebraska. Talk about a headline, first of all. Well done, 24/7 Sports. Great headline. He was on Big 12 radio on Sirius XM, I believe today, John.
Big 12 radio.
He opened up about the criticism that he faced while at Nebraska. I'm just going to read this quote. It's a long paragraph. Bear with me. The narratives I'm fighting against, well, I haven't been to a bowl game and I haven't had a winning season. Now, football is a team sport, but I play quarterback. And oftentimes you get associated with those kinds of things, and I want to win. I want to go play in a bowl game, and I want to win a bowl game. So that was another reason why I came here. I feel like we have a great opportunity to win, and that's something if I do and I play the right way, I know we're going to have an opportunity to do. Plus, or part of that's not turning the ball over as much. Part of that is being accurate all the time, making the right decisions, and that comes with playing quarterback, yes, but I feel confident in the system and with the progressions I've made that I'll be able to take that next step. But, of course, it was the part in the middle. I want to play in a bowl game, and I want to win a bowl game, so that was another reason why I came here.
I'm sorry if I'm going to end up being Adrian's PR guy, but spot the lie.
Spot the lie.
Now, before you say, you're just being Mr. Anti-Husker again.
This is like your bad take you just had about that 80s song. Like that, if people were saying that.
But
Husker hater.
at the time that Adrian Martinez left, all right, that's before all of these, well, I mean, the coaches' changes had happened, but it's before pretty much everybody who joined from the portal joined from the portal. And a lot of things, a lot of water has gone under the bridge. This team is very different looking than it was when he left. In the moment that Adrian left, the defense had boo-coo, that's B-O-U-C-O-U-P, boo-coo,
boo-hoo
questions about it. Now, it still has questions about it, but at least, you know, they filled some spots that, you know, previously, you know, would have been filled by less experienced people. Didn't have Trey Palmer. You know, there were a lot of questions. So in the moment that he left and made the decision, he looked at the writing on the wall and said, I don't know if this team is going to be able to make a bowl game. Thus,
spot the lie. It's pretty interesting, man, because now look, we can read this quote. We know exactly what he means by it. But
and remember, some of this too is he's playing to
bingo.
his
Thank
audience.
you. I'm happy you said that. That's important in all this. But he really does toe the line of saying what I think what he feels. I think saying something negative about Nebraska, but man, he just never mentions that. He's never like, I want to go to a bowl game here, and I didn't think we could do that at Nebraska. He always leaves the second part unsaid, but he allows you, of course, to infer it. He's been doing that all offseason. And I found it pretty interesting.
Now, by doing that, does that give off more of a vibe that there's bitterness? That you won't even mention them by name?
That's a good question. Maybe.
Now, this is where I play the anti-PR agent. But seriously, when you're referring to a previous situation and you won't even refer to them by name, that to me anyway is a signal for I don't respect those folks, or I have a problem with those folks.
Yeah, Johnny Big says, weren't Adrian and Frost friends? See, now it's a good question because for the longest time
they were tied together.
But do not forget about what Adrian said in the offseason, again, since he's left, about the situation with his broken jaw. He was not happy with how that news was disseminated.
He did not want that news out.
He did not want that news out. It got out. You and I have theorized how exactly it got out in terms of talking to the TV guys. I think Frost, my theory is still that Frost thought that he was just kind of giving him a little bit of background on what was going on with Adrian to explain away some of his mistakes.
And possibly, and I'm theorizing here, but maybe he let that news get out in order to get sympathy for his plight.
See, I think he said it. He didn't think it was going to get out. Joe Clapp mentioned it on the broadcast. Frost got tipped off in postgame. Then because he knew he was going to get asked about it, he brought it up himself in the press conference. I don't think that made Adrian happy. It's been months now, but remember there was some reports that came out in the wake of players leaving the program that their exit interviews did not go very well. You have to wonder about Adrian and if the exit interview with him did not go very well.
I don't think it did.
Yeah, exactly. So lost.
And I'm not saying that Frost was wrong for that if that's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But
and Riley
I
points
get the
out,
feeling it didn't go well.
Yeah, Riley points out too. Frost also wouldn't refer to Martinez by name, and that's, to be fair to Frost, that happens with coaches like all the time. A player will leave and they'll never really talk about them, by name anymore. But yeah, interesting. You wonder how many more times something like this is going to happen, because I didn't really expect this. Like, he's given a lot of quotes that have pointed to his time at Nebraska in a not good light.
And should mention, by the way, and again, I said he's playing to his audience, and that audience is an audience that doesn't mind itself some Nebraska schadenfreude.
No, they do not.
Even though these schools haven't played each other in a decade and haven't been conference mates in a decade, there is still a lot of folks down Manhattan way that are like, Nebraska sucks.
Mm-hmm.
So
100 days to college football is the best scenario. We've kind of run through best case scenarios for Nebraska as it relates to Adrian Martinez. I think I'm going to say the best case scenario is they meet in a bowl game. Nebraska, K-State in a bowl game. Because look, best case scenario is Nebraska wins the championship. They're not going to do that. But if they could meet in like a lower level bowl game.
Well,
how fun. What a story.
Best case scenario.
Fun.
Well, if that happened.
Shopping. Do it in Sarpy County.
Visit GoSarpy.com.
And then Mike Farron can call it on his cell phone.
Catch a ball.
Now, are you saying best case scenario for whom?
Me. Fans. Narratives.
Thank you.
To things to talk about. You do an overreaction. All those things.
Oh, it's always me doing overreaction.
John, you do a great
It's
job.
always I don't.
The listeners demand
I
it.
do a
We
terrible
want
job.
John.
No one's ever
They love how
demanded
you're on your
that.
couch. You're like, John sounds so fun on his couch. He's comfy. Couch. Josh has to drive. See, I think I'm going to be a overreaction from home guy this year. I moved too far away. I used to live 2 minutes away from the station. Now I live a half hour. I'm basically
Husker Homer.
Might as well be in Lincoln. Maybe
Josh
Happer should just do all
Peterson,
the
Western Nebraska native. I didn't know this.
Kyle says, what kind of good things could Adrian Martinez say about the worst era in Husker history?
Okay, it's not the worst era in Husker history.
At least we didn't go 2-10.
Worst era in 60 years. But not the worst in Husker history.
Take that.
Still belongs to
Is it Jennings or
Bill
is it
Jennings.
Is it anybody before that?
No, it's Jennings. I mean, for an extended period, it's Jennings.
Okay.
But another 3-9 season?
Don't wish that upon
I'm not
them.
wishing it. I'm saying.
We all want it. Nebraska.
1-11.
Kansas State. No, Nick, you monster. Okay, what is the Big 10, Big 12 bowl game?
Would you accept 1-11 if the 1 was against Iowa?
That's a good poll question.
That's a good Jack Mitchell question. Would you accept 1-11 Nebraska if it meant the one was Iowa?
Last year, by the way, the Guaranteed Rate Bowl was a Big 10.
That's the one in Arizona.
Is that the one in Arizona? Okay.
Then Farron can call it on his cell phone.
On his cell phone.
Oh, it's getting better all the time. I'm with you on this one. This is my favorite. This is my best.
Oh, is Adrian running down the field?
Ball about as hard as you can. Right at that time, the wind was really howling and knocked it down, and Rory bounced off some fun in left center field on the warning.
Touchdown, Adrian.
All right. We'll be back. We got some unsportsmanlike content, and somebody had a 4-team parlay last night. I don't know who, but he must be really damn handsome and really damn smart on 1620 The Zone. And I'll tell you how you can be smart, and that is by keeping your AC and furnace tuned up for the peak season, and we are nearing air conditioner peak season. McCarthy's 1 hour heating and air conditioning's Comfort Club. For one low monthly fee, you get a twice yearly 100-point inspection of your AC and furnace. There's 15% discount on repairs. There's reduced fees for other visits. There's a 90-day breakdown fee guarantee, and Comfort Club members always move to the front of the line when things get busy. McCarthy's has live operators on call and techs ready to go 24/7. There's no overtime or weekend up charges as well. And for the life of your membership, that Comfort Club fee will never change. It's not like the gas prices. It won't go shooting up through the roof. Find out more by visiting McCarthy's1hour.com. And don't forget the McCarthy's promise, always on time or you don't pay a dime. The Comfort Club at McCarthy's 1 hour heating and air conditioning, McCarthy's1hour.com.
Remember, no matter how you listen, it's still AM radio. 1620 The Zone.
Did you know that Kentucky bluegrass isn't from Kentucky? It came from Europe. And what we call Dutch elm disease actually originated in Asia. This is Chuck Monaco with CM's Outdoor, now part of the Ryan Lawn and Tree family. And while you may know us as experts in everything lawn, trees, and landscape, you may not know that we're also experts in pest control. After all, you want to do more than just look at your beautiful lawn. You want to fully enjoy it. A certified CM's and Ryan Pest Control Pro can free your outdoor oasis from ants and spiders, fleas and ticks, rodents, mosquitoes, and more. Our home insect barrier won't let them escape inside either. And unlike other companies, our employee-owner Pest Control Pros are cross-trained in plant science to help make sure that your beautiful and livable landscape stays that way. Visit BestOmahaLawn.com for a free estimate. Sign up for our complete Pest Guard Plus annual program, and your first application is free. Enjoy a pest-free summer at BestOmahaLawn.com.
To show you how easy it is to file a claim with Geico, we hired a scary movie victim.
Oh no, a tree fell on my car, and there's only one thing to do. Trip over my own feet and pull myself across the lawn while yelling help at a barely audible volume.
Sorry to interrupt, but you filed a claim with Geico, so you've got a designated claims team to help you.
This Geico sounds suspiciously reassuring. Are you sure I don't end up getting surprised with an unexpected twist?
Just that your Geico team will always be there to keep you updated.
No!
What is it?
Oh, nothing. I just didn't see that coming.
Geico. Great service without all the drama.
You want 8 of the flutes and onyx.
Shira's hand-blown glassware blows right off her store's shelves.
Back for more indigo bowls.
She needs an inventory manager to help keep her stock on lock.
These are 100% borosilicate. Those aren't. Hey, can someone check the temp on the kiln?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Earn up to $500 in sponsored job credits by conducting interviews on Indeed. Visit Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
O'Reilly. Get ready for summer vacation now at O'Reilly Auto Parts with up to a $15 gift card after mail-in rebate when you purchase select Superstart batteries. With the power, performance, and reliability your vehicle demands, Superstart batteries are made to deliver long life and consistent starts. Superstart batteries only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hi, it's Tori DeVito. In every family, small conversations can make a big impact. Your honesty about that part of your life gave me a sense of integrity that I wanted to uphold in my own life.
I wanted you to know from someone who's been in recovery more than 30 years now that hard work is what creates success, not alcohol or other drugs. I said it a lot, and I'm glad you took it to heart.
For more information, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Sponsored by DHHS and aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people, people who answer the phone and your chats, dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people, small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct is brought to you by Union Bank and Trust. Now back to the program.
Unsportsmanlike
Content.
Unsportsmanlike content. Unsportsmanlike content. Content that's unsportsmanlike. All right, let's get right into it. Unsportsmanlike content.
Wow, just getting right
Yep,
into it.
Go.
The Browns and Baker Mayfield reached a mutual agreement for their estranged quarterback to not attend OTAs. But given the recent news of Deshaun Watson, could Baker Mayfield be the progressive insurance policy the Browns have to cash in this fall?
Get it? Because he advertises for Progressive.
Nailed it. Good joke, Nick.
Yeah, and we didn't get a chance to get to this story today, but the New York Times did some research into the number of women that Deshaun Watson used as masseuses. The Texans apparently helped craft an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement that Watson would have the women sign, that they would use sometimes team facilities. It's not a great look. It's a continuing bad look in a bad situation. But we talked about it yesterday. I'm starting to lean more towards, if you made me pick an extreme, he plays or he doesn't play this next season. I don't know if Watson plays this season. You still have Mayfield. You haven't been able to trade him. You're stuck with him. Man, what a story it would be if Baker Mayfield was still around and took the reins of the club and did something with it. For a lot of people who are kind of annoyed by Baker Mayfield and all the commercials he does, despite the lack of big success,
He becomes sympathetic.
he'd become a sympathetic hero. There's a chance for that.
And there's part of me that wonders if he would say, no, I'm holding out. I'm not going to play for you after the way that you treated me in the offseason. My guess is he ultimately would. That this situation with him, as they have not been able to trade him, has been, I think, one of the sneaky, underrated news items of the offseason, if you will, because he's still on the roster. And Watson's going to be suspended for at least a game. You and I think he might miss the whole season.
He's going to be missing many games.
And
this
I've always
season.
wondered, what if he got suspended for 6 games and Baker had to start for 6 games and then he played well? Crazy story. You wonder if they can completely mend that fence with Baker.
NBC Sports confirmed today that Drew Brees is done. Folks, what's next for his broadcasting career?
Man, I just don't know. He wasn't that good for NBC, which is why they decided, in my opinion, to re-sign Chris Collinsworth. I think if he was good, that he would be the guy on Sunday Night Football. It's crazy, too, because NBC might be getting Big Ten football, so it's not like he was going to be short on opportunities. His ego tells me he wants to do NFL games. I mean, look, networks are always going to be interested in big names and big stars. He'll get another chance, but it might be like a lower level on Fox, which you'll say that's a good thing.
Which is what it's supposed to be.
But will his ego allow for that to happen? That's the question.
He'll end up doing some of the games that Mike Schaefer will be analyzing 6th graders for recruits. He'll be on those games.
Ian Rappaport went on the Pat McAfee show on Tuesday and said that there's a chance Jimmy Garoppolo is the 49ers starting quarterback during the 2022 NFL season. Do you agree?
I just realized by making it sound like Mike Schaefer is analyzing 6th grade. Go back to the Mike Schaefer interview. I don't want to make Schaefer sound like a creep.
Yeah, it's a very normal comment.
Yes, absolutely there's a chance. I mean, Garoppolo, like Mayfield, is still in that same spot. Now, the hard feelings aren't quite as hard for Jimmy G, as I presume, as they would be with Baker towards the Browns. But yeah, there's a chance he's the starting quarterback, which again just makes me want to laugh and laugh.
We laughed and we laughed.
You know, a real top 10 coach in the NFL has a solid quarterback situation or makes the best of a bad situation.
Couldn't agree more. That's why Mike McCarthy and the Cowboys will be just fine.
Yeah, they're in a bad situation.
Will he? I mean, is there a chance? Yes. Do I think that he'll start? No. I think that it will be Trey Lance from day one moving forward.
Look forward to all the interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
The NFL and EJ Gallo Winery have inked a deal making Barefoot wine the official wine of the National Football League. Is this a good choice?
I have no takes. I probably have had this wine before.
Barefoot wine is
It's
basically
wine.
it's basically the Busch Light of
I was going to
wine.
say, think of their beer agreements. It's not like they're doing it with craft breweries. They're doing it with the beer for the people. Is this the wine for the folks?
It is.
Oh
Then
yeah, this
great
is
choice.
the kind of stuff
Good on you,
get at
Raj.
a lot of different. Listen, it does the job. I'm not a huge wine connoisseur, but I can drink Barefoot wine. There's some good Barefoot wine, and it's inexpensive. And God knows we could all use some inexpensive stuff these days. I did that.
I did that.
The Moscato's pretty good, I can't lie.
The Moscato is really
Then
good.
why
My
are you
wife
making
loves it.
fun of it? This whole question, Nick.
I'm not making fun of the whole question.
Can you imagine
don't like
sitting
Barefoot
there
that much.
watching your beloved Dolphins with a nice glass of Barefoot Moscato?
Well, no, I'm a dry red guy, remember?
No, wait. No, you're not.
I am. I like a
What?
dry red.
Interesting.
Cut that stuff with some 7-Up, and then maybe we can talk.
What the hell? Olympic gymnasts, including Simone Biles, are seeking $1 billion in damages in a court case against the FBI for failing to stop convicted sex offender Larry Nassar. The claimants say the FBI knew in 2015 that Nassar was assaulting gymnasts but failed to stop him. This would be in addition to the nearly $1 billion already paid out in legal settlements surrounding the case. Will they win?
I think this will go the same way as the other case as well. There was a case against Michigan State. Michigan State settled for around $500 million, and then can't remember who the other. I think this will end up settling, and it'll be hundreds of millions of dollars, maybe just a little bit more than Phil Mickelson is getting from the Saudis.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you, man. That is, I think I agree.
One more. Last one.
Yeah.
Small boxes of Kleenex have
I was
gone.
thinking we haven't talked about this yet. Get the other one.
The NBA Finals resume tonight in Boston. Does the winner of tonight win the series?
Yes. And stay tuned for Bet of the Day to find out who's going to win.
Oh.
But yes, the winner of tonight's going to win the series.
Well, it depends. Is the winner of tonight Golden State? If the winner of tonight is Golden State, then the winner of tonight wins the series. How's that for you?
Nice.
I'm sticking with my guns. I picked him in 6.
I like it.
All right. Well, we'll find out just how much fake money Josh will put on the Boston Celtics next on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
The Zone Inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Email me, Connor Happer, with the Connor Happer Show at Connor, CONNOR, at 1620thezone.com. Send me your love, your hate, and maybe a few hot takes. The Zone Inbox, presented by Equitable Bank.
At Woodhouse, we make car buying simple. From test drive to purchase, we're here to help guide you to your next vehicle with no pressure sales, transparent pricing, and a streamlined purchase process to save you time. Finding the place to shop for your next vehicle just got easier. Whether you're looking for a car, truck, or SUV, we will get you on the road faster with a vehicle that exceeds your expectations. Find new roads and explore all our inventory arriving daily at WoodhouseGM.com and at our dealership in Missouri Valley, Iowa.
Jake and Christine knew they needed help renovating their dream home. As a Pella advisor, I make sure every step of getting new windows and doors is smooth, including setting you up with our Pella Care Guarantee. It covers everything from product to installation with some of the strongest warranties in the industry.
Get more with Pella. Let us personalize an offer just for you. Visit PellaOmaha.com/radio for more details.
Hi, everybody. Gary Sharp. You know, if you've been in Nebraska for a while and you love going to sporting events and you're getting your hands on the best tickets, there's a good chance you bought them from Ticket Express. Well, I'm here to tell you that Ticket Express has a new name. It's Tickets for Less. So if you've loved the quality customer service and the community feel that Ticket Express has brought us over the past 3 decades, have no fear. Tickets for Less is going to be here with the same energy and the same selection. Ticketsforless.com. Always the best seats at the best prices to your favorite sporting events. And if you ever need anything, just give them a call. 402-398-1999 and tell them Gary sent you.
Damon Benning from Sharp and Benning in the Morning. When Lee Franklin Jr. moved to Omaha, he brought his love for Louisiana cooking with him. That's when he and his partner, Montoya Johnson, opened a Taste of New Orleans Creole Cafe inside of Ted and Wally's in Benson. A Taste of New Orleans is the go-to spot in the 402 for authentic Cajun and Creole cuisine. andouille fries and sausage, beignets, po' boys, jambalaya, gumbo, and so much more. A taste of New Orleans Creole Cafe inside of Ted and Wally's in Benson. And be on the lookout for their food truck coming to a stop near you.
Seller's market? Yeah, that's the understatement of the year. So how does that affect you?
Brent Rasmussen of Mortgage Specialists.
No matter what's going on with the economy, there are several unbendable laws at work. The biggest one is when supply is low, the demand is high. It's no different in the housing market. Right now, the difference in the number of available homes in the metro area versus the number of waiting buyers is extreme. So if you're thinking that you want to buy, what should you do or even not do? Well, first things first, let's make a plan. Mortgage Specialists will be there to give you all the correct information you're going to need. We know ways that'll show the seller that you're a serious buyer. We'll use all of our knowledge and experience to show you other ways to navigate in this market. I'm Brent Rasmussen. Call me at Mortgage Specialists and we can show you all of the details. Mortgage Specialists, driven, trusted, reliable.
Click mtg-specialists.com. NMLS number 5918, Equal Housing Lender.
Spring is in the air. At Lanahaw, we offer the area's most complete selection of landscape supplies and plant materials for all of your spring projects. Visit Lanahaw's Garden Center today. Rooted in quality, unmatched value. 192nd and Center.
The temperature is on the rise, and so is the Salvation Army's need for fans for our summer fan drive. We're teaming up with metro area Westlake Ace hardware stores to collect donations. All money raised will be used to purchase fans that will be distributed to low-income seniors, qualified families with children, and adults with disabilities. Donate now through June 19th at any Westlake Ace store, or just go to salarmyomaha.org. That's salarmyomaha.org. The Salvation Army, doing the most good right here in the metro.
This is Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson.
A little slippery inside of tight spaces.
The 1620, The Zone.
And you know why I'm laughing, don't you? Now, it's time for the Unsportsmanlike Conduct Bet of the Day.
Just a little bit under where some folks would like to see this one wind up.
Brought to you by nobody.
You gotta be kidding.
Really, we don't have a sponsor. Sorry.
All right. So yesterday, if you can't tell from his singing, John was a victor in his 14.
Hail to the victors, Zion. Hail to
Why do you
the
like this guy
conquering
Victor so
heroes.
much?
I am a victor. I'm not Michigan.
I had the Rangers. They lost. Nick had the Lightning.
And
beat
they
the
famously
Rangers.
did not lose.
They did not lose, indeed. All right. I said the winner tonight going to win the NBA Finals. I got a same game parlay.
FanDuel Sportsbook promo code 1620.
Thank you, John. Give me Warriors. And
the Warriors.
This is called Fading Bill Simmons. He was talking a lot of trash about Klay Thompson
Everyone
on Sunday
took
night.
Bill Simmons.
Klay Thompson over 18.5 points. He has a nice bounce back game, knocks in a few threes. He has a double-digit first quarter. The Warriors get the victory. 18.5 points plus 261.
Well, speaking of fading, it's time to fade the Cubs. Orioles plus 110 tonight.
How do you spell Orioles again? I always forget.
Orioles. Orioles.
Orioles. Plus what?
110.
Nick?
I'm going to do something stupid.
Oh, parlay.
Yeah.
Tell another joke.
Give me the Rays. Give me the Braves. And for spiciness, the Twins. That's plus 494, fellas.
Wow, that is very silly. But it's also the bet of the day.
Iowa.
Iowa, indeed.
Tomorrow's Thursday.
Yep.
That would be Mr. Lula.
Robbie Rula. You screwed me up because you did it too soon, Nick.
I thought it was three times.
Robbie Lula.
I thought it was Robbie Lula.
Yeah.
It's not.
Nope.
Okay. Well,
it's okay.
And don't forget to tune in to our friend Mike Farron tonight. He'll be using smoke signals to broadcast the.
There he is. We can hear him live. Yep, still on a phone.
I think they have.
All-Star break. Mike Massini was let go by St. Louis and replaced by Mike Schultz.
It sounds like people at a Ric Flair convention.
Woo! By the way, so
I believe they have the issue fixed, and it was never Farron's fault. I mean,
let's blame him anyway.
Yeah, sure.
I said last segment we need Nebraska and Kansas State to go to a bowl game. Seth has responded. The flaw on this is that it would require Nebraska to be eligible for a bowl.
Okay.
Come on, Seth. Come on, Seth.
1 and 11.
Nick, you monster.
The one is Iowa.
You weirdly still a monster.